take pride in satisfying every customer's financial needs.
Introducing the future of hassle-free and seamless financial transaction. The Yuna Wallet app, empowering you to effortlessly manage your money anytime, anywhere. With the Yuna Wallet app, you can now enjoy branchless banking, wallet-to-wallet transfer, wallet-to-cash, and bank cross-border payments, deposit at a bank, and withdraw from any Yuna branch. Get ready to experience the ultimate banking convenience with the Yuna Wallet app. With just few taps on your phone, you can effortlessly add funds, withdraw, and send money to your loved ones. The Yuna Wallet app also provides a detailed history of your transaction, making it easier to track your expenses. So, what are you waiting for? Download the Yuna Wallet app today on Play Store or App Store and say goodbye to hassle of traditional banking. Yuna Forex Bureau Limited, delivering much more than money.
Hello and welcome to another edition of our show. We're back here in the studio and of course again looking at what's happening in the country and what is trending. Of course, what is trending, it's the explosive investigative report by the Republic, Mustafa K. Darboe and his team that looked at the sales of the former President Jammeh's assets and of course the aftermath of that. But before we get into the program proper, I want to say my guest today is would have been Honorable Bile G. Tunkara, Majority Leader of the National Assembly, because Bile had announced that they were going to launch a parliamentary inquiry into this report, investigative story. And of course, when I spoke to him yesterday also, they were looking at having an extraordinary session. He told me they had had the numbers. So it was good to have him here to look at what they were doing. And of course, I have always Counsel Lamin J, who is always available to talk to us about stuff like this. Counsel, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Frank.
And first, before we start the show, before we look at the report itself and the commission and the sales of the assets, today Gambian youths who call themselves I think Gala, they went out. They went to the police station, to police headquarters to request for a permit to protest. And obviously the police denied them the permit. And they said they were going to go because they were not using any PA system. They just wanted to have a free movement and assembly. And also they had a petition that they wanted to present to the Attorney General. And they were supposed to start their protest at 11. My team was there. They went to the arch around 10 a.m. And even before they could even gather, the police came on them and arrested the first batch. The leaders of the group, I think they are Kek Sane, Bayo Sonko, Omar Saibo Kamara, Bob Keita, and some other, and Mamadi Kura, of course, the former secretary to the commission, and some other youths. These were the first group that were arrested. And then they took them and came back again. And the other people that were gathering, they took another group also, took them to the police station, came back again, took the third group. I think almost about 20 of them were arrested. And then a lot more Gambian youths assembled at the police headquarters. Just before coming to on air, we saw Buba and his team were there. What we saw was that the police took them all out. They charged them for unlawful assembly, and then put them in 2 police trucks and were taking them. It was very confrontational because I saw some of the protesters where somebody like Killer Ace was on the floor and said they were not leaving. Why should you take them? And he said that when you see something like this, what does it tell you? The never again mantra that we have cried for, that we have fought for. Is it just a delusion? What do you think of what happened today?
Well, as the first batch were being arrested, I was coming out of the gate of the High Court.
Yeah.
So I witnessed it. I saw them being arrested. Like you said, I didn't see any public address system with any of them. In fact, when they said, go into the vehicle, there's a open pickup truck there. Yeah. They just jump in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was at the Arch around just after 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my thing is 2 things. First, the Public Order Act, right? I know we still have the Public Order Act, but does that prevent innocent protest people who just, the Arch is a public place. Anybody can just go there and sit there. These boys were sitting at the Arch. They didn't have a public address system. They were not even assembling. They were just a group of them because the entire teams, people were gathered. They did not even have, at that point, they didn't even have, I don't know whether they had even 20 people there. So would you say that was an unlawful arrest? As a lawyer, do you think that was an unlawful assembly?
No, I wouldn't say that. The Public Order Act is very clear.
Yeah.
If you are using a public address system, then you have to get a permit from the police. Now it's open. If you are not using a public address system, you don't need a permit. Yes. So you cannot find a citizen at a public place and just arrest him because you believe he's about to protest. You know, even if that was the intention for going there, what is the basis of the arrest if they are not using any public address system? I didn't see any. I'm not far from them, or I was not far from them when the arrests were taking, when the first batch of arrests was taking place. I was there. Yeah.
And also, I mean, at this point, I'm thinking maybe if we have naming ceremonies again, the police can just descend in our homes and arrest us. Because most of the time, and that is a gathering of over 100 people. These people were less than that. And they were sitting at a public place, at the Arch, that where people gather and dance and marry and do whatever. So what does this tell us, Counsel Lamin?
Well, actually, there is a context to this.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't come and arrest.
Well, you never know. At this point, anything can happen. Seriously. Yeah.
No, but there is a context to the Public Order Act.
Yeah.
Yes. So obviously, the intended demonstrators, the Gambians against looted assets. That's the name of the group.
Gambians against looted assets. Yeah.
So they announced their intention. So the police were aware of what their intention is.
Yeah.
They saw it as political, maybe as a kind of opposition to the government. But really, that is a knee-jerk reaction.
But that's the problem right there.
Yes.
The police thinking it's political. Yeah. The police thinking these people are going against the government. Whose side are the police on? Whose side are they supposed to be on?
Yes. So, so that is the context. But there is a larger issue there. Should you arrest people when they didn't embark on anything yet? Yeah. They had no banners. Even if they had, they didn't start unfolding those banners. There was no public address system. Why wouldn't you exercise patience? Because really, this is not about who has the guns, who has the batons, who has the seals, who has the police officers. the instruments of force. It's not about that. Yes. So you manage these relationships properly. Listen to what they have to say. You know, it will all disappear in about an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't come there for any violence. So you ask yourself, why would they react like this? Is it because of the wrongdoing that is clear to everybody? But who are you protecting?
Who are you protecting?
Yes. Yeah. Because
instead of arresting the looters, the people that are stealing our public assets, you're arresting the young people.
Exactly. The innocent people have been arrested here. The looters are inside their big offices, their nice cars, sleeping on Jammehs beds and things like that. So, you know, there is no moral authority for this kind of stuff.
And the other thing is we are spending almost, I don't know, close to 100 million on security sector reforms. You know, just a few years ago, we talked about never again when we had the TRRC. Revelations and revelations came out how police officers were very brutal to protesters or even people, innocent people who have not done anything. And a lot of people said, we have learned. Even the president said, Jammeh karantale, Gambia dingol karantale. Fon karantale, but being a Minje, even reporters, the Fatou Network cameraman was assaulted. Journalists were arrested, even though they had their media cards on them. They were arrested and taken into custody. All of this, the protesters were malhandled. But you still tell us, nde karantale, te karantale.
No, that's just a statement. You know, Fatou, like I said, I always insist that our problems are rooted in governance. Unless you are able to sort that out, irresponsibility within government will continue. Because you can steal, you can do anything. If people protest, then the police will come. Instead of investigating you, they will follow the protesters. They will punish them, they'll detain them, they'll probably even take them to court using public power. So never again is just a mantra. A mantra that came around during the Jammeh Commission, but more particularly during the TRRC proceedings that were televised. We saw what happened. We heard what happened. It was a sorry state of affairs. At least, you know, Jammeh didn't hide his mode of operation. We know the type of person he was. We know his attitude to those who want to assert their freedoms. But what is life without freedom? Freedom does not affect anybody. As a president, it shouldn't affect you. Yeah. The natural default position of humanity is freedom. You cannot suppress it. So why waste your time, especially during a period like this? In fact, if we have a government that is amenable to the dictates of the rule of law, maybe, you know, journalistic houses like yours would be redundant. Yeah. Because you are very vital to the society because of what government is doing. Because of what government agents are doing. Yes. Good governance would take care of all those problems. If you feel that particular journalistic houses are not friendly to the government, then do the right thing. Nobody would bother with them. They'll have to then focus on areas that are important to people. But, you know, you're creating great opportunities, economic opportunities, and other things for those who want to see the rule of law truly existing in the country. Yeah, this was quite sad. Like I said, I witnessed these arrests, but I was going to Mile 2 at the time. So, I mean, I received many calls to go to the police station, but my schedule was very tight. I was unable to do it. Yes, because what I went to Mile 2 for, I needed to go there for that. So it took time. But to be honest, it's not necessary. You are telling people, don't protest about those who allegedly looted Gambia's public resources. Yeah.
Are you worried? Are you worried? This call is important. Maybe it's one of the lawyers, so maybe he knows where they are. But are you worried that I saw something that was really alarming to me when they were arresting these youths. When they arrested one person, they all jumped in the car. Take us all, arrest us all, kill us, jail us. The determination. I have never seen such determination in people. When police come to arrest them, they run away. But instead, they offer themselves.
Yes, exactly. Because when the first batch was arrested, orders were coming. Yes. And orders and orders and orders.
Yeah.
So really, you don't want to continue that state of affairs. You don't want it to continue. We don't want too much excitement on the streets. And if government is intervening lawlessly, obviously, those excitements on the streets will continue. It's not good for national security. Just leave people to demonstrate. Yeah.
Should the president be worried that the young people are this determined? Because at this point, I have not seen any political dimension to this. It is just the young people from different political backgrounds, youth activists, who are saying, look, we want to know. We want to know what happened to these assets. And it's cut across different political spectrum.
Absolutely.
Should the government be worried and just give us the list and and just do the right thing?
I saw journalists there. I saw supporters of the government there. I saw civil society organizations like Coalition for Progressive Gambians. Sidi Cham, the chairperson president, was also among the people who were arrested.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
So really, it cut across.
Yeah.
This is something that you should not politicize. It's not people who are opposed to the NPP. This is a group of concerned youths saying, well, do something about this. A report came out. You didn't even say anything about the report. So we are coming out to protest. Yeah. And of course, that is constitutional right to petition your leaders, to listen to your political views, to your perspectives on the public space. Yeah.
Okay, as we do the show, I am being told they are at the anti-crime in, I think, what did they say? I think the anti-crime at, Madi is saying that the protesters are in Jabang anti-crime post. So this is what they've been held, they've been removed. And this is the problem. You arrest people, malhandle them, put them in a car, take them to different locations. That Jammeh tactics of undisclosed places, don't tell people where they are. At this point, why do we have to still continue those things? Why are the police acting as they are still in the dictatorship?
It's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. But again, if you look at it, it's a systemic issue. The president has the authority to hire and fire without any reason or with reasons the Inspector General of the Police, the Director General of the Prison Services. So all the security services, the president has a mandate to relieve you of your position. So what do? You are a police officer, you misbehave. The Inspector General of Police wouldn't do anything to you because he does not know your reach. Maybe your reach is further than that of the Inspector General of Police himself. Maybe there is nothing between you and the president. You can call the president anytime you wish. So that used to happen. Your messenger can be more powerful, your cleaner can be more powerful than you because the person has access straight to the seat of power. Yes. So it's very difficult for police officers. You have nothing to live on. So obviously everybody is spying on the other person. And at the end of the day, morality comes out of it because people would say, well, you are talking about conscience, you are talking about other things, doing the right thing and all that. We're thinking about what we're taking home to our families. So those things are very important. But it's easy to rectify those situations. It's easy in the sense that a government that really adheres to the rule of law, to processes to ensure that even if people commit crimes, they are given their dignity. You know, you are going to take a lot of protest out of the system.
Yeah.
You're going to take a lot of tension out of the system. But no, you don't know what they tell those above them as far as authority is concerned. Yeah.
I saw one of the protests, and that really stood out. He, you know, Killer Ace, he went straight to the police officers and said to him, "Nyun, yen laño xeexal. How much are you paid? All of these things you're doing, how much are you paid? What are your allowances? You know, you don't allow to be used." And the police officer just looked at him. He knew what this guy was saying was right. He just stood there, froze. Like, sometimes, why is it difficult for our people sometimes just to have courage and say, I'm just going to be the odd one. Let me just do the right thing. It's difficult for our people to do. Most of the time will say, yes, I know we all mirror our dimbayas, but sometimes it's also good just to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Maybe if just one police officer refuses to arrest these police, that can inspire many more police officers to do that.
Yeah.
The people that you're arresting, they are your neighbors, they are family members, they are people that you are related to. The cause that they are fighting for is you. Those monies that have been looted, that we don't know where they are, if they were properly managed, maybe you could have a better raise in salary.
Absolutely.
Maybe you could have better uniforms. You could have better working conditions at your office.
Yeah.
So indirectly, they are also fighting for that police officer that is arresting them.
Absolutely.
And that is the sad part. You go protest, and indirectly you're protesting for these people, but they're arresting you and they're malhandling you.
Yeah.
And that is sad.
Yeah.
The president, I mean, you said something, you said the president has the power to hire and fire, but the president himself said, he keeps reminding us this every single day. And I keep saying this to people. He tells us, police will mean bijang wole babulu, Jamela police will bate fanambul, Jamela army will batable. Should we be worried that President Barrow is going to be more aggressive as time goes on?
Well,
with the way things are going?
He is different. He can make abrupt statements, but give it a week or so.
You think so?
Yes, he'll come back to his default position.
Okay.
So his default position is that, you know, he's a decent person. There is no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Yes. What he needs to do is to stop projecting power as if it belongs to him. We've seen this.
Yeah.
Yeah, the former president would say, "There can be my command." Yes.
I see now.
You know, that one is nicely said in Wolof, so he says it in Wolof.
In Wolof, yes.
Yes.
Yes. That phrase is nice to say.
Yes, that one is nicely said. Okay, maybe the president said, Jammeh had all of those things, but in addition, he has economic. He said that also.
Yes.
So obviously, but I think at the end of the day, you know, he wouldn't deploy irresponsible power, because right now the things we are dealing with are small-scale issues as far as national security is concerned.
You think so?
Yes.
We saw the 3 years Jotna here.
Well, we did.
We saw how the police
yes.
went and, in fact, it was the police that went after the protesters.
Yeah.
The protesters were giving permit. They were standing there. They were not doing anything.
Yeah.
The police went after them.
Yeah.
We saw today also, these people were sitting there. In fact, at that point, they were not even protesting. They were sitting. The police came and arrested them.
Yeah. Well, still, you know, we are talking about the trigger point for a real threat to national security.
Yeah.
We've not reached that at any point in the history of the country so far.
Okay.
So they should not be traveling in that direction.
Because we don't want to get
there. Because if you do, we might just get there, even though you didn't plan for that to happen. Yes. Chaos in the country is not good for the head of state.
Okay.
Yes, because at the end of the day, if it reaches a particular stage, you are the one who will be the victim.
The buck stops at the
Yes,
president.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now let's look at what triggered all of this. What triggered all of this is the great work that the Republican Mustafa K. Darboe and his team did on the sales of the Jammeh assets. I know Mustafa have been working on this story for the past 2 years. That's why it's good to empower media houses. Media houses like the Republican, Kerr Fatou and other media houses who don't, at least we try to get advertisement. Republican, they don't even do advertisement and all that stuff because they don't want anything to influence their work, right? Yeah. But they have been working on this story for 2 years, looking at the assets. Number one, it was difficult to have access to any information. You know, they had to work day, night, and try to get information from wherever they could get it. And the report came out. It was really crazy. And when this happened, there were a lot of issues that surfaced. How the assets of the former president were disposed of, and how certain individuals were allegedly involved in disposing of how people use their powers to do certain things. Now, when the report came out, it shocked the entire nation, because we have seen on several occasions at the National Assembly, Assembly members requesting for the Minister of Justice to release the list of the people that bought these assets. Now, I want to say that the Commission of Inquiry, the Jammeh Commission, Surata Jammeh and his team, when they came, they identified 266 assets of the former president in the country, including hills, lands, whatever you call it, 266 across the country. When after that, just around 2021, we were told, allegedly, the president's cousin, Pa Bojang, came in the country. And when he came, he went around with authorities, including authorities from Ministry of Justice and other officials and some people who are not in government but were close aides to the president. They went around, and there were other properties that were discovered, apart from the 266 assets that were identified by the commission. Now, when that happened, the government never came out to inform the public about the additional plots that were discovered. So we don't know how many plots were discovered from there. But it was after that we know that some of those plots that were discovered were allocated to the president, some of the president's inner circles, people like Suku Singate. When they allocated him our land in Lamin, the people protested. And it was after that they allocated him. I have both leases, the one that they allocated them one in October. When the people protested, he had allegedly sold that to a real estate company, and they had already paid deposit. When people protested and they revoked that lease, they gave him another lease of the Jammeh asset in Batokunku. That was in Tanji. That was an empty land. In fact, I went there at that time when we were told we went there, we visited, we saw it. So these were vast land that Jammeh had leased under his Kanalai family farms, but never did anything there. They were just there. So those lands that were later identified allegedly by Pa Bojang, nobody told us how many of these properties were involved.
Yeah.
They didn't tell us. They didn't disclose that. Now, this report did not even touch on some of those. The report was always talking about the movables, the vehicles, the cars, and the other properties that were identified by the Jammeh Commission. Out of the 266 properties, only about 45 were the amount that we were being told that is being sold by Alpha Bari and his team. And then obviously the prompt report, I have it also, the sale, the receiver, the first receiver prompt, the number of tractors they sold under his receivership and stuff like that. We also saw that. But these are serious, serious allegations. We said the former president stole these things from us, from the Gambian people. And now, these same items that were stolen, allegedly, by the former president, are now being allegedly stolen by or to other people from us, the Gambian people. How serious is this whole saga, Counsel?
It's quite an amazing situation, to be honest. In the morality stakes, we can argue Jammeh is even better than these people. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because he was a dictator.
Yeah.
We all said he was a dictator. He knew he was a dictator.
Yeah.
Because if you can stand and say the country belongs to you,
Yeah.
that is the height of dictatorship. Yeah. You were governing by force. So, yeah. We understand those things, but some of the people who are telling us how bad the former president was, I call him by his proper title. No, His Excellency, yes, Professor Al-Haji Dr. Yahya A.J. Jammeh. Babil Mansa. But the Babil Mansa, I guess, was dropped. Yes, yes, yeah. But Fatou, this is absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yes. In December, on the 5th of December 2002, I wrote an article for the Standard newspaper to say that the Honorable Minister of Justice was wrong to say that they were unable to release the names of those who purchased Jammeh's properties on privacy considerations.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, really, I believe that was just a government minister talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this has nothing to do with privacy. Yes, absolutely nothing to do with privacy. You should be ashamed to talk about that, to mention that, to advance that as an argument against releasing the names.
Yeah.
Remember, these people in 2022, we didn't get many names. I don't know if we even had any names.
Yeah.
What they released were some properties, a few of them. All those were real estate in Banjul, Sarakunda, and other places.
Yeah.
Yes. The vast majority of properties were not released to the public. The buyers were not released to the public. But we know, if you go through this report of the Republic,
yeah,
even receivers were buying things.
Yes.
You shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. You shouldn't do that at all. Yes. You know, there were conflicts of interest there.
Yeah.
Batambedu was involved in those conflicts because these Binta Sompasise, you know, was involved in the purchase of some of those things under dubious circumstances. Now, don't tell us, you know, don't give us stories. We know why those things were not elaborated on. Don't give us excuses. Yes, because when Augustus Prum, the accountants, were sacked, because that was effectively what happened.
Yeah.
You went to the Honorable Justice Ibrahim Ajayte and placed before his court exactly same application that you put before the court of Our Ladyship, Mrs. Justice Amina Sahu Sisi. Yes. You know, that order was subsisting. Instead of vacating it, or trying to vacate it through any number of ways, what did you do? You had a pending application where orders were made. And like Her Ladyship said, you cannot administratively overturn a court order. You cannot do that. Yes. She was nice to them. Maybe she didn't want a lot of drama, but otherwise, you can call the Attorney General, cite him for contempt, maybe take him to mile 2. Of course, that would be too much, obviously, but things like that should happen. Yeah. You went to another court. Batamberi said that is not necessarily an abuse of process. Now, he didn't say it cannot be an abuse of process. He said it is not necessarily an abuse of process to have multiple applications on the same issue before different courts. Yes, and this determination was made by one of the courts. Why did you go to another court? Yes, with a separate application without mentioning that something happened before another judge. Yes, if you are a judge and you are not involved in a matter, it is entirely possible that you wouldn't know what happened in the other court. Yes, so you disclose everything.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if that was done.
Yeah.
The Honorable
Justice
Justice J.T. would probably not have done anything with the matter. Yes, so that was dishonest. Yes.
And you know, the receivership issue, you know, the receiver was, the first prompt was appointed way before the commission, right? And during the process of the auctioning, right, you know, the Ocean Bay Hotel was also part of the Jammeh Assets. At some point, because the percentage was at 10%, Ocean Bay has written to the commission to say, look, we're not making any money because all of our money is going to the receiver. We're giving them 10%. The commission thought that was really a lot. They wrote to the receiver and say, you know what, I think you should revise your price, you know, your tariff, this, because the business is going to die. They're not making any money because the percentage is really high. And they wrote to the receiver. The receiver obviously wrote back to justify why that. But at some point, I think that was solved. What was the necessity? If you're able to get to try to get that receiver from 10% to 3%, what was the necessity for the government to try to get a new receiver when already there was one that was appointed by the same government, even before the commission?
And
I think that should be clear.
And the new receiver...
Yeah, the prompt was appointed way before the commission. Yeah. It was not the commission that appointed prompt, it was the state. Now, why all of a sudden you wanted to change him and bring a new receiver and give him the same 10% when the commission was trying to get prompt to 3%? Yeah. What was the reason?
Actually, he was taken down to 3%.
3%. He was taken to 3%.
And then you gave 10% to
the new receiver. Yeah.
Yes.
What could have been the reason for something like that?
Well, we're not going to get into that. The public will make up its mind about those things. But you know directly that there is a conflict there. Yeah, we didn't need to elaborate. We didn't need to say, okay, this is my view and all of that. It was unreasonable. Yes. So now people would be left to speculate on the reasons. And this is what happens in a non-transparent system. In a non-transparent system, people are going to make up their minds. The way these assets were dealt with is really disgraceful. It was. Yeah. However you look at it, like I said, on King FM yesterday, what is it again? Permanent secretaries were buying beds, this Montreal something.
Yeah.
You know, what do you want to do with Jammeh's beds? Yeah. What do you want to do with them? You are a permanent secretary, a departmental head within the government of the Gambia. Yeah. Yes. And you want to buy these properties? You are telling us he was a bad man? What kind of a person are you? Yes. So the story, this is just the beginning. It will be like Watergate in the United States. Nixon would say, we didn't do this, we don't know anything about this. But the drip and drip and drip of investigative journalism would eventually unveil everything. Now we reach a stage where they will not be able to keep these things secret anymore.
And we're able to get, details are coming slowly. Yeah. I am able to get the report. When Mamadou Koura was the secretary, he was overseeing the receiver. So he worked under him. About 43 tractors were sold. After that, Fatou Jammeh from the Ministry of Justice took over as the secretary to the commission, and he was overseeing the receiver, and they also sold some items. But I was able to read through her report and what they were able to sell, some of the tractors. Interestingly, the commission did not sell the Jammeh luxury vehicles. The commission made recommendations for all the assets. What the commission told the ministry was the movables, because they said in their report that what they realized when they came, the Jammeh vehicles, some of them were packed and they were destroyed. His houses, his TV, some of them were getting missing. His personal, the cane, his watches, people were stealing them because there was no proper coordination, protection, who is, you know. So some of the people they were stationed there, they were taking stuff. They said they recommend to have the receiver.
Station where?
At the Kanilai. At Kanilai. So, and all his different locations, right? So they said, they told government, let's have all the vehicles and orders to the MSG, you know, government station, and also at the GSTC. That way we know everything. In case you government officials want to use any of these vehicles, let us know, notify us before anybody uses them. And they also said, now the movables, the cars that were in Kanilai and other things, the cattles and others, let the receiver go round and with the auctioneer and then look at this and auction some of these things and put a comprehensive report. This was supervised by the secretary. But they, and the tractors and other stuff, but they told them not to sell at that point the properties. And also they made it clear that the luxury vehicles, so the luxury vehicles were not sold. Now, all of these items that the movables, because they were getting this, that they sold, and the ones that they didn't, the other ones that they did not sell, the government never told us where these luxury cars were, who bought them, who is in possession, are they using them for anything. And again, the land that they went to Justice Jete, those properties that they went to Justice Jete to release, you know, most of us are concentrating on the properties that were sold. 45 out of 266. What happens to the 220-something land that were not sold? Because we haven't seen the records. And the other allocations that were done along the Batil Hardin Highway in this route, there are leases that are coming out. And it's interesting, the number names that we are seeing. People were allocated and they refused to put their name and they sold it to their business people. And these were people that were very close to authorities. So there's so much that is coming out right now, and it is scary.
No, everything will come out. I can tell you that. It's just the drip, drip, drip. You deny, you use executive authority to do things that you shouldn't do, but ultimately, at the very end, everything will come out. But for me, it's not not necessarily the individuals.
Yeah.
Yes, the lack of system to manage our public affairs properly. Yes, it's very, very serious. You do everything possible to get close to the seat of power. And then once you get to the seat of power, you just advance your own interests, telling stories, responsible angles to all manner of public engagements to the president so that you can get what you want. Yes, but you know, you should identify those kinds of people and keep them away from the presidency. It's not a place for sycophants and jokers and people who are not willing to work for their living. Yes, don't listen to them. Yeah, they know all of these things that are happening. Public assets and all that stuff. At the end of the day, everything will come out. People are denying things now. But if you look at this report very carefully, you know that almost 90% of what happened did not conform to proper standards. Yeah. Yes. Whether it is when it comes to disposing of the assets. Why are you selling properties to yourself? Yeah, it's just like police taking things from you and selling it to themselves. Yeah. Yeah. Why should you do that? You know, that is concentrating power. It defeats accountability. And you don't want accountability defeated. You don't want to hide wrongdoers in the system. Yeah, you cannot follow everything, but definitely there are certain instances where just the trail of investigations would reveal a lot of things that are happening. Yeah, follow that trail wherever it takes you, let it take you there. Yes.
Another thing that also, the Republicans were able to do was the conflict of interest. I saw a particular area, for example, where Ba was following allocation of land to individuals that were his friends. As the Minister of Justice, is that within his, is it something that is ethical to do for him to follow land that he was trying to get the courts to release to be able to allocate, and then following its allocation to individuals? Was that something that is within the normal practice?
Well, no, that was, he did that for this some Pasisa lady, and he said he did that innocently.
Yeah.
Yes, that was what he said,
yeah,
in the report. What do you mean, did it innocently? Don't get involved in that kind of stuff.
In Gambia, we are all interrelated, we are all close, so we help each other in those areas. Is that not anything that is more like a normal practice that we all do here, right?
Okay, maybe we do that if you do it as an ordinary person.
Yeah.
But Minister of Justice, Attorney General and Minister of Justice, in charge of all these processes, especially the Jammeh Commission, you should stand above board. Yes, I know there are temptations to assist some people, but people, you were involved with. Yes, now everything came out. You were following leases for people who you later married. So how do you justify that? How can you say that was innocent inquiry on behalf of that person? The word he used was innocuous. That is, you didn't do it for any reason. It was just harmless. Yes, you are a cabinet minister, Minister of Justice, at a critical period in the public affairs or public life of this country. If you pick the phone and you call any of the civil servants who are managing that process, they would, of course, do what you want to do. That is conflict of interest. It's an abuse of power. Yes, you are intervening in processes that should be allowed to take their natural course.
In Ba's defense, though, we haven't seen any, in the report, we haven't seen any allocation to himself directly, or any close family members that we have seen, or close friends or something, and there have not been any direct linkage to him directly benefit. And that's what he said in his rebuttal, that he has never ever benefited any cent from the sale of Jammeh assets, because he didn't allocate himself.
What do you mean I have not benefited? If you are intervening on behalf of people with whom you had relationships at the time, so what is that? It's not like just the property being allocated to you, or you purchasing directly and things like that. Power and authority operates, in a very nuanced way. Yes, you'll be foolish to come out and buy those things directly. Yes. So those who did that will, of course, have themselves to blame. But I can tell you, if you go through the report, there is so much absent in the report. You can feel that this whole thing was conspiracy. It brought out the Gambian character as far as leadership is concerned in ways that are very, very difficult to understand.
When you say conspiracy, what do you mean? Why would you think? How? You say when you read the report, you could see there's somehow conspiracy. How?
No. What I'm saying, if you read the report, you know that a lot is not stated in the report.
Yeah.
Yes. because of the minimal information that was available to Mustafa. He did very well. We know we are dealing with a complicated situation. But most of the time, these are highly educated people. They know their ways around government. They know how to hide information. Yes. So obviously, this is just a drop in the ocean. It's an excellent start. But there is so much we didn't know, because if you look at it, you know that there are a lot of missing angles to this whole thing. Yeah, a lot of missing angles. I am saying you must be foolish, you know, to go and buy these properties openly. You must be foolish.
Really?
Yes. You know, those who did it were not careful. Those who did it in their names, like that permanent secretary Muntaka, well, he was not a careful man. Yeah. Because otherwise you don't need to do that. You can buy it through funds, through third parties, have them registered in their names, and then you'll decide later what to do with the properties that you acquire. Yeah. So, yeah.
Another angle that the report also showed us the Alpha Capital, the receiver, the new receiver, the tax component. Even though they made allegedly about 89 million, they paid about 2 million in taxes. In fact, even the money that they received, like the 89 million, they have not, because they were paid percentage. But at the time they were taking the 89 million, allegedly they had not received all of that money. Government had not even collected all of that money for them to be able to get the 89 million. But they still received that. But they did not pay the right taxes for that.
Right. Well, who brought Alpha Capital into the equation? Was it not Batam Bedu? He brought them. Yeah. But he said he had no personal relationship or professional relationship with Mr. Barry. Yes. So why did you release a receiver who has just been said 3% and bring another person and pay them 10%?
That we need justification for that, though, because if the commission was able to bid down from 10 to 3%, because obviously they feel that he was taking bulk of the money and he had accepted that, why would you, that for me, that is the biggest question. And I would wish that we had able to get answers for that from the government. If this person has been pushed to 3%, from 10% and to 3%, why would you go to the point of going to the courts to have his contract cancelled and get a new receiver and put that person again at 10%?
The Babakar Sampasise.
Alpha Capital,
no, the former husband of this other season lady.
Okay, yeah.
All right. You know, that property was sold for just maybe 150,000 more than when it was purchased by Jammehs many years ago. 15 years?
Yeah.
You sell the same property for just
the same price.
Yeah, effectively the same price. What was going on there?
And
so those issues are not reassuring.
Yeah.
You can give us the stories, you can tell us whatever you want, but people are not going to buy those stories.
And the recommendation was, I was reading through the commission recommendation. Yes. The recommendation was for the landed properties, for the parks and all these islands and everything, let's reserve it. For the landed properties that were taken from people, because there were some land that they had taken, Jammeh had taken people's properties from them, right? Give option to the owners, but if they're buying it, charge them the current market price. A property that was bought, let's say, 10 years ago for 3.5, its market value today would have tripled or even doubled. So if you are selling those prices just a little above those, that there itself raises a lot of red flags also. And that was also concerning. And then allegedly, if it was sold by people that had relationships to the owners also, there were a lot of conflict of interests.
Oh, no, yeah. A lot of conflict of interest. Say, for example, I read somewhere in the report about Kurang. So Kurang,
yeah.
yes, Kurang sold some tractors.
Yes, about 43.
Yes,
43
about
tractors.
43.
Yes.
And the commission letter sold about 100 and something.
Yeah.
You know, Kurang made more money than them, effectively. Because if you percentage it, you cannot even compare the proceeds. Yes. So what is this? What was the sense in that? Yeah. What was the sense in that? So, yes. Yeah. I don't know. It's not very clear to me why Kurang was let go. But he was released under very dubious circumstances.
Yeah, I think Kurang we had a story, a report that also dealt with what happened with Kurang. I got some reports, and we will definitely write about that. But there were some issues that really happened when Kurang was there also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was also queried at some point on some of the sales as well.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
He made more money on just 43 tractors than these 100 and something tractors. Yeah. But the issue is, so the commission itself sell anything. As far as I am concerned, the commission should divest itself of that power. It needs to go somewhere else. Yes. You cannot be the person who charges. You cannot be the judge, and you cannot be the jury, the ultimate decider. Yes. So the commission itself had conflicts within it. Yes. I believe those conflicts would probably have led to the release of Kurang. They should have given us a reason as to why he was let go.
Yeah.
He's a citizen. You cannot humiliate and disgrace him like that without telling us what happened.
Yeah, I think what I saw Kurang had written to the president directly about some issues that he had with lead counsel, and he had written to the commission. The chair of the commission had told he had bypassed the system and went to so it was some push and pull that happened, but it also had to do with some of the work he was doing. But this, I saw the reports, but I'm not able to elaborate on it now because we are going to do a story on that. But that was something, there were some issues that he had with the lead counsel then, and he had gone to the level of the presidency, and the office of the president had to remove him and bring somebody, a new secretary, that was Fatoumata Drameh from the Ministry of Justice.
Yeah.
So that's what happened with this case.
And Fatoumata Drameh, according to the report also, they were not able to get any responses from her. You know,
the report, the Republic, right?
Yes, Republic, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So everybody,
I saw her report.
People are declining to talk to the Republic.
The Republic, yeah.
Yes.
But at this point, they don't have a choice because these informations will come out. They don't.
Yeah. No, the informations will come out. The informations will come out. So it's amazing. But I believe a lot of people are interested in these things.
Yeah.
Yes, that is why the minister is refusing to release the information. But anyway, you deny, and eventually you fell on your sword.
My thing is, why the cover-up? Why, especially now, we have seen people come out saying the former finance minister, Amadou Sane, literally walked into our office yesterday. We did not request for an interview. Amadou Sane walked into Kerr Fatou Studios and said he wanted an interview because the report, he had obviously responded to the Republic when they asked him questions. He said that, but he wanted to say it on video so people can hear. So he came here. He was available to clarify and tell people his position that nothing was sold. In fact, he said the tractors, the air tractors that was sold to Turo's company, he said at the time when he was the Minister of Finance, the intention to buy, Turo sent him an intent to say that he was interested in buying. And when that request came, he was there. But at that point, no other person had sent an intent to say they also want to bid. So that was the first bid. But the time the deal or anything finalized, he was moved from the Ministry of Finance to Trade. Now, yesterday on member hearing, lawyer Darboe was also there to say, yes, they were in cabinet. He was at the foreign ministry. But when the issue came up in cabinet, he made his position known about why they should not just dispose of these things in this manner. And, he made those clarity. Now, these two high-profile people have come out to explain. Should we expect the same thing coming from authorities that are in government now? Because at this point, they are in possession of all of this information. They have the documents, they have the sale, they have the allocated lands. And I want people to understand this is not just the lands that were sold. They were lands that were allocated to people. What was the reasons for those allocations? For example, we have the lease for Suku Singate, and they said compensation. What was the compensation for? The Gambian people need to know. What was he compensated for?
Yes. Well, that's what I meant when I said, if you read between the lines as far as the story is concerned, then you realize that there is a lot of missing information. You also realize that you cannot but be troubled by the way things happen. So there is a big cover-up right now. Yeah, there is a big cover-up. And so I believe if you go to court, that would be good, because if you go to court, then obviously the defendants can make applications for this list to come out. Everything will come out ultimately. Yes. And that would clarify the situation.
A lot of things.
Yes.
And I think one other thing that I felt like, just like you said, there was no proper management. Because, for example, we have seen what happened with the TRRC. After the TRRC, there was a setup of the Reparation Committee where they take over the recommendations of the TRRC. After the Jammeh Commission, there were recommendations, and then the government white paper came out. Now, the implementation part, there was no structure set up to say this is how the Jammeh assets will be handled. This is how but nothing like that happened, just like what happened with the TRRC. Was there a problem? Like, if the commission's job ends at their findings and handing over to government to say, this is what we found, this is our report, this is our recommendation. That's where the job stops, right? From there, the government takes it over to say, okay, we're accepting these recommendations, we're accepting this, no, we're not accepting this, but we're further putting up an institution or a structure or something, a vehicle that will drive all of these recommendations, that will manage all of these assets or do something. What happened? All we saw, another receiver came, sold some properties, and then the government allocating left, right, and center. There was no proper structure that took over the work of the commission. Yeah. Was that something right? Was there supposed to be a structure that should take over the work that the commission had done?
Well, constitutionally, once the recommendations are handed over to the president, like you said, the work of the commission comes to an end.
Yeah.
So then government takes over. So implementing the outcome of the commission is the responsibility of government.
Yeah.
Yeah. If government is not willing to implement, then that is a problem. And there is another issue also in this whole thing.
Yeah.
You can be in government without knowing what is happening in other parts of that same government.
Yes, possible.
Yes. You can know the peripherals of particular transactions.
Yeah.
But there is probably an inner circle that deals with the critical aspects of those particular transactions. So yes, it's just the nature of how power operates in government. So what we see from the outside is not exactly
What is
the cohesion that is within government itself. When I say government, I'm talking about the cabinet, the politics, and everything else, including ministers and permanent secretaries and things like that. The cream of government, the executive arm of government. Of course, you have the judiciary, you have the National Assembly, but day-to-day governance is really controlled by the executive arm of government. And within that executive, you know, all manner of things happen there. So it is possible to be in the cabinet and not know what is happening in cabinet. Ministers told me they go for 6 months sometimes without seeing Jammeh. So maybe there were no cabinet meetings. So what are you doing in a government like that? Yes. So, but anyway, human beings are not complete. We cannot be perfect, obviously. So I am very careful when it comes to assigning blame to individuals. What I want is a system that controls everybody. Because, you know, people can be compromised easily, especially when they know that they are running the risk of not being able to protect themselves even when they are right. Yes, the system can just gang up on you and victimize you. Really? Those things happen.
And that brings to my next question. For example, you know, yes, we know some of the properties were sold at mysterious ways. We don't know, there was no transparency. But the people that bought these items also, I mean, some of them are businessmen. If I see properties there that I can afford, I'm going to buy them. So should we blame those people who bought these properties, or should we concentrate squarely on the system that created this opportunity for them to buy it? Because at the end of the day, they were on sale and people bought it. So for me, I'm like, as long as you are not part of the system and had access, like obviously the permanent secretary was part of the team, he should not have bought those items. That is conflict of interest. But for the ordinary businessman or the ordinary person right there, and I saw people saying Fanta Ture, and somebody was on Gambian saying Fatou Ture Fane Asane. No, my name is Fanta Fatou, not Fanta. And that needs to be clarified. I did not. I've never bought any properties. I don't have those kind of money. But seriously, those people, do you think we should apportion blame to those people who innocently bought these items because they were sold at a good price?
Innocently bought them.
Innocently, the ones I said innocently.
Yes.
Okay.
No, I'm just repeating what you said.
Yeah.
This was an exclusive transaction. You either know people in the inside or you don't. If you don't know anybody in the inside, maybe coming from the outside, it will be difficult for you to kind of access the fortified boundaries of how they were operating in government.
Yeah.
Yes. So I don't know whether there were innocent purchases. I don't know whether people were used to purchase some of these items by those in government. It is a possibility. But I don't believe that any government officer should have purchased any item. And that includes members of the commission. Yes. No member of the commission should, if you accept to serve in the commission, then you shouldn't buy anything from those items. That is just a basic principle of public law. You cannot do that. There's a conflict there. Yeah. If you are in government, you are a minister, you are a permanent secretary, you should not buy anything from a commission set up by the government.
Yeah.
Yes, a commission of this nature. Yeah. So, I mean, you talk about innocent purchases. I don't know whether there were any innocent purchases. Yes.
Because of the nature in which the sales were done.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. A lot of the people would have had access to the people in authority, within the commission, within government. Yes. Yeah. So this is a conflict. You are selling to your friends and family. Yeah. You know. So I didn't hear of any credible auctions.
No, I didn't hear.
I didn't hear of any credible auctions. If there were no credible auctions, then where are the innocent buyers? You said, okay, this is an auction. We are doing it at the Independent Stadium. Anybody who is interested can come and offer to buy.
Now, the other thing also that, you know, also raises question is the secrecy in this itself, because the lawmakers, they are supposed to have access to these things. I have seen several times, you know, to be fair to the National Assembly, I've seen several occasions where they have requested for these documents, especially the Almame of Jiba of the, you know, Noto Alliance. And of course, Omar Jammeh of Janjambur. They, on several occasions, the opposition and independent National Assemblymen, they have on several occasions asked for these documents. Why does the AG constantly keep denying assembly members access to this? Do you think, would that cause any suspicion that there is some foul play in this whole situation?
But we don't need to say suspicion of foul play. There is foul play.
There is foul play.
Yes. They'll say, bring the evidence. The evidence sometimes is nonsensical if you tell people to bring the evidence.
Yeah.
Where are they going to get the evidence from if you are sitting on it? Yeah. But power operates differently. When Richard Nixon was accused of supporting the Watergate burglars, they denied it.
Yeah.
They did everything, and they denied it.
Yeah.
But eventually, what did he do? Did he not resign from the presidency and return to his home town of Yobalinda? That was what happened.
Yeah.
So these things come out. You cannot keep them confidential forever. Governments will come and go. Governments will change. Information will come out. Yes. Yeah. You have to be worried by the justification advanced by the Minister of Justice.
Privacy.
Yes. The Honorable
Dauda
Jallow, yes. He said privacy. Privacy. It's just like a burglar here in your Kerr Fatou studios.
Yeah.
And the police said, no, you cannot release his identity. That would be private. How are you going to deal with that burglary then? Yeah. So that was, you know, an undefensible justification for hiding that information. Why are they hiding the information?
Someone told me this is going to be another 3 days of us talking on TV, protesting on National Assembly. What kind of investigative recovery work have Mustafa not done in this country? What is going, I mean, at the end of the day, and you know, these government officials have said this to me several occasions.
No, but
do you foresee that in this also?
No, because there are potential cases, court cases that will emanate from this.
Yeah.
Once it goes to the courts, a lot of the information will come out. Yes.
Yeah, because
So,
they are threatening people that they're going to court.
Yes.
Once they go to court, obviously lawyers will summon for certain documentation.
Absolutely.
And they will be obliged to
And
bring them.
if those applications are granted, then obviously they will come out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can ventilate that. You can deal with that before the courts. Yeah. So, because if you look at what her ladyship, the Honorable Mrs. Assets did, you know, that was quite a brave move.
Yes, it was.
Extremely brave.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are effectively saying to the Attorney General, your position is wrong.
It's wrong.
Yes, and that is the truth. You cannot administratively control a judicial decision.
I mean, and I was surprised. Why would you think Ba? Because Ba is a very seasoned lawyer, right? And with a lot of experience, come from a family of great lawyers, very respected. Why? Is it because he didn't understand, or why something like that? Even though a senior judge, High Court judge, said, "No, this is not possible. This is not the position of the law." Why would you go to another judge?
Well, read the report.
Of the same.
No, if you read the report, Fatou, all the context is there. Yeah. You know, your analysis can be as good as somebody's analysis, obviously. So you're going to say something, somebody else would say something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, human beings, whether they are lawyers or not, are very observant. People are very intelligent. Yeah. So they'll be able, even without the evidence. You know, we lawyers, we always say, bring the evidence. You know, I mean, really, there are circumstances where you have no access to the evidence. But what happened is very clear to everybody watching a particular transaction. Yeah. Everybody watching a particular transaction knows what is happening. Now, I'll read here what the
from the report.
From the report here.
Yeah.
What did Her Ladyship say? She said, for the government to descend upon the respondent's properties. The respondent in this case was His Excellency, Sir Professor.
Yeah, Sir Professor.
Dr. Jammeh. Yes. At this point in time, in the absence of the conclusion of the criminal investigation and a subsequent order of confiscation will, with respect, amount to nothing short of a travesty. So this is a very strong statement coming from a judge of the High Court.
But the argument was the OIC was coming. They needed some of these properties to build five-star hotels because the OIC was coming. The government, the country needed to prepare. So they needed these lands to be able to get these hotels up and running so we can have a successful OIC.
That's completely rubbish. It's nonsense. They also they said that, was it about somebody's justification that, you know, the tourism is about to start.
Yeah.
How quickly can you build a hotel in the Gambia here to get it ready for the tourist season? So that was the first prong. The second prong was the OIC. Have you seen any hotel built here for the OIC? No. Have you seen any of these 6-star and 5-star and 4-star hotels been built in readiness for the OIC?
No.
It's a rubbish, my friend. Those lands would have been used for those things, but they were not. What happened? Who stopped them? Did they not take the lands belonging to your colleague here, your colleague and her associates, Nene Freda?
Yes.
Okay.
And that property still, the OIC, the hotel was not built, nothing happened.
Yes.
And even the court order said that's their property. I mean, that's the Gambia though.
So it's not
Courts
true.
can say stuff and then government do whatever they want.
You can say whatever you want to say. We'll listen to what you say. We'll give it a contextual analysis. If it makes sense, we'll give you the benefit of the doubt. If it is rubbish, we'll call it by that name, rubbish.
And that's what you call it?
Yes. What Paba said about they need those lands to be released for building hotels in readiness for the tourist season and for building other 5- and 4-star hotels for the OIC is complete rubbish. It's the same government in power. Did they do it? They did not do it.
But can we agree that BAD did not directly benefit from any of this? We haven't seen any documentation.
Well, I don't know.
That's what he said. He has not.
I don't know.
We haven't seen
the information is with the government.
From the report, what we saw.
So I'm not going to...
From what we saw from the Republic report.
Yeah, what we saw from the report tells me that government is sitting on information and refusing to release it. So unless I know exactly what happened, I am not willing to exonerate any cabinet minister who was serving in government at the time. Yes, we need to see the list. Yeah, let the full list come out.
And that's what the youths are demanding.
Exactly, and they are within their rights.
We are not fighting.
Yes.
We don't want you to give us the money.
Yeah.
We're not even saying return the property. All they're asking for, release the list.
Yeah.
And that seems to be a problem.
No, that's a problem. It's a big problem because the process was not transparent. A lot of information is hidden. The list will expose a lot of things. It will be a national scandal. It would destroy the reputations of some people. So that's not a thing that is easy for government to do, especially if some of those people are your own close associates. Yes, so there is a lot of tension here. I think the urge would be to release, but really you have to think about the surrounding circumstances as well.
The surrounding circumstances?
Yes.
Interesting. Now the National Assembly said they are, the majority leader, Honorable Delay, was supposed to be here with us, but before we started, he texted to say they are busy trying to have the extraordinary session, so that is why he's not able to come.
What extraordinary session? Why do you want an extraordinary session? If you are interested in truth and justice, what he needs to do is see the president and tell him what he wants to do in the National Assembly. He has no obligation to do that. But this is politics. They are within the same party. Yeah. There are things that they do in the National Assembly that would directly impact some of the ministers in government. Yeah. Because if, say, for example, like you say, the National Assembly has the authority to censor a minister. Yeah. Now, if the Honorable Billy is interested in truth and justice, he shouldn't waste time with any commission. The commissions were conducted. The results and findings are there. All you want to do now is to ask the minister to release the information. Yeah. If they refuse, you use your power, the government caucus, that is the members of the governing party in the National Assembly, cooperate with the opposition, because I believe that is what the opposition also want to do. Censor the minister and he will be fired by the president. Yeah, but you alert him before the vote that is what you are considering doing. Then obviously, if the president is interested in maintaining that minister, he'll just tell the minister to release. That's all. Yeah. The government the president is under an obligation, once a minister is censored by the National Assembly, to release that minister.
So you think the extraordinary session is not necessary?
It's complete nonsense.
Because I saw Honorable Yahya say that's a waste of our resources.
It is.
Because extraordinary sessions, the National Assembly's members will be paid, the resources will be spent. You don't need that. You just need a simple request of what the people want. But you're also saying that's what is necessary.
No, an extraordinary session is not necessary. Whatever the National Assembly wants to do, I believe the National Assembly should tell the minister they are about to pull the rug from under his feet. He would either publish or they will censor him. Then he will publish.
But all of these things that are happening on the council, the president is quiet. We want to, and I see people telling Mr. President, we want to hear from you. Hani korakono, ni makango marta, mbemu mfamanyol ka na makango warta don for fasi diam.
Well, I'm sure the president is consulting.
He's consulting. You think the president?
Yes,
will
I
address
think
us?
he's consulting. He knows.
Is it necessary for the president to address us? Because this is one of the, I think so far this is this most serious scandal that has come under his presidency.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, these are assets of the former president. And, you know, alko Jammeh nyimfengol sunyan tol kotor. Atol fanaye na be sunyan kotor katu allegedly will be caring. And, you know, I want to say something. Yahya Jammeh, ni lanol kamin beje. Jammeh ka lanol tale, aya lease afang toyal. Most of them, hani bungo buka loje. Akabe fence like if you go to Bato Kongo, kabo tongkong for tongkong, abe lease tale abije. Most of these areas, they are leased, they are left there. Nothing is happening. Even this Battle Harden Highway that they have allocated all of it, it was just there. Jammeh did not allocate to nobody. But within 7 years, they have allocated it to people. And some of them have been sold. In Batokunku, the land that was allocated to Suku was allegedly sold to a real estate company. And they are about to build compounds there. And that will be sold to residents. And if you look at all of that, you know, at least Jammeh was preserving them. But with this government, what we have seen, they are allocating to people and they are allocating to individuals that are also selling it. So it's a whole different craziness.
Well, Fatou, what we need really is an open government, a transparent government. Yes, you know, these kinds of government can thrive in wrongdoing when there is a lot of darkness.
Okay.
Yes, so there is a lot of darkness. If all of a sudden the lights go off, you know, somebody is looking for an opportunity to come in and steal, they'll come in and steal. Yeah, without, you know, the noise of the media and the activists, you know, we'll just sink to the bottom of the ocean. That's what we will do. Yeah. So the activists, I encourage them to continue to advocate for their positions with dignity, of course, within the rule of law, but not to be afraid of the consequences. I believe our friends who were arrested today would be released.
Well, they said right now I'm being told that they are in Banjulundi as we speak.
Well, I know that's what they do, and this is not necessary.
Moving them from one
country to the other.
These
people are not criminals in the conventional sense of the word.
They are very dignified citizens of the country.
Yeah. So why are you taking them to anti-crime? For what? Heavy-handedness by the government, by the security forces. The president should intervene and tell them, the police, the security services, to release these people. They didn't do anything. Yeah.
Are you expecting the president to arrest us? You have not answered that question. Do you think the president should address us? People are worried because you know, like a lot of, because they are not giving us information. There are a lot of information coming out. Should the president address the citizens about the state of what is happening? I'm not saying do it today because he needs the information.
Yeah.
He needs to get all the facts right and make sure whenever he speaks to us, he's giving us the full information.
Yeah.
But should he address us?
I think so. And I believe he will.
You believe?
I believe he's probably consulting, so to put the facts together. Yeah, the facts that he is comfortable with releasing to the public. But if he's not willing to do it properly, then there is no need, because that is just going to.
If he's not willing to do it properly.
Yes.
Okay.
Then there is no need, because people will not be satisfied with what you said.
What you say.
Yes, you cannot just say, we're working on it, we'll do this, we'll do that. I've seen the press release, was it yesterday or day before yesterday?
They said they follow due process.
Yeah. No, but they said that they are trying to gather information and all that.
But
What
they also said the commission and the ministerial committee that was set up followed due process throughout this process.
Well, so that's what happened. Yeah. Show us the reason why there was even a ministerial committee. Tell us what the ministerial committee did, how it interfaced with the Jammeh Commission, and what was happening at the level of the Ministry of Justice and the receivers. Don't tell us there was a ministerial committee. Nobody is a fool. You can set up these nonsense committees and, you know, what do they do? Nothing. Yeah, they do nothing. So we're not ready to be fooled. That's why the citizens went to
protest,
register their disappointment today. Yes. Yeah.
Well, Mr. Counsel, I don't know what else we have not touched on. I think we have exhausted all of it. You know, what's your message to the Gambian people? I know I have seen so much frustration in the people, especially, you know, it became more emotional because people believe, you know, the Jammeh assets. Some people will even tell you this is not Jammeh's assets, these are our assets that we're taking. I have seen hills, forest parks, the entire Keneba Forest Park. How can the former president own all of these things? And the reason why people are outraged, we don't want to go back to whatever we have gone through in 22 days. And I've said to people, we will never get there because the citizens are more aware today, we're more informed, and we are more engaged. I have never seen the Gambian people more engaged in our leadership, in the dispensation of our governance system. So I think we will never get to where we are, but is the outrage justified?
Completely. Completely. You know, Gambians against looted assets.
Gambians
What is, yeah. Yes. So what is wrong with that? Yeah, this is a scandal, however you look at it.
It is.
Yes. If I'm the president, I'll do what I need to do. Yes, not necessarily to punish anybody, but to get to the bottom of the matter. I'll address the people. I'll order an immediate release of all these people arrested today. I'll do that immediately, and I'll then issue a statement within the coming days about his perception of what happened. It's not going to be easy because these are some of the people involved would be his cabinet colleagues. Yeah. They would be his permanent secretaries, department heads within government. There'll be all manner of people. Yes, independent people brought to government to run a particular project, in this case, the Jammeh Commission itself. Yeah. So, like they say, our friend Sol Benga, yes, we are on one forum with him. It used to be the remnants of the Gambia L.
Yeah.
Sol would always say, trust but verify. Yes.
And
trust,
you know, interesting, I saw Duga today. Duga DC. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Duga, since the change, they have put their gloves off. They said, Mr. President, the gloves are off. I'm like, oh my God, you don't want Duga to be that active, right?
Absolutely.
Interesting times.
Yeah.
Interesting time. But what would you think the former Attorney General Barr, what should he do? He issued a statement, obviously, to state his position and his involvement and what they were able to do. Is that enough? What else do you think they should do?
Well, I read the statements. Whatever happened under his watch.
It happened under his watch.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one thing we will definitely give to him. He was the head of the department. It happened under his watch.
Yeah, it happened under his watch.
Yeah.
So he cannot excuse himself.
Yeah.
This rottenness cannot continue for a year or 2 and 3 without you knowing about it. Yes. And of course, lawyers would and intellectuals will always use words.
You know, you lawyers, yes.
To get themselves out of particular situations.
Yeah.
No. But you leave the words alone and look at the substance of what has been said. Look at the context of what happened and then see how you move from there. Yeah. But these denials and statements and all that stuff, I'm not convinced, at all. Yes. I believe that there is a lot more that will come out eventually, and only then would I be able to blame or exonerate anybody. Right now, my position as far as the policy level conducts are concerned is because you cannot say, I didn't do this.
Yeah.
You were at the head. So if there was wrongdoing, then we believe you should know about it. You should have arrested it because it didn't happen just one day or 1 week or 1 month or 1 year.
Yeah.
It happened over a period of 2-3 years. Yes.
And the most interesting thing I saw in the report, the word blindfolded the court. You know, and you know, you would think the Bar Association, I mean, the Justice, the AG's chambers, obviously, the Bar Association, you guys work closely, lawyers and AG's chambers. If something like that is said of any member of your association, were there any conflict of interest issues? Do you think the Bar Association should have said something about this, or should you guys just be neutral about this? The AG's chambers and the Human Rights Commission, or I've seen all the activists have come out. And they have denounced the process that happened was wrong. It was not transparent, and they have said this openly. I have not heard from the Human Rights Commission or you guys, the Bar Association, the lawyers. What is happening? Are you protecting your own?
I'll tell you.
Are you guys protecting your own?
No. All I can say to that is try to understand the nature of power.
Oh, the nature of power.
Yes, the nature of power and how relationships play into the dynamics of power. Yes, you and I can both be engaged in wrongdoing. They'll kill me and celebrate you. Yes. I'm not going to say anything. Think about that. The nature of relationships and how they impact conduct within organizations, whether those organizations are private or government. Yes, so think about the nature of power. Yes.
The nature of
you
power.
diminish your currency if you condone wrongdoing and accept it and reject it at the same time because of the parties involved. Yes. Think about it.
Yeah.
You find your answer there. Yeah.
That's deep.
Yes.
That is deep.
Yeah.
Ibarang so kung content klorsi. Ate katara janet dron to klorsi. Ngaya kabirum kuna be songko la kabirum kunungko.
To klorsi kabiring nabe do kuala action.
Yeah.
She was brilliant.
I don't know how she does this. She's an activist her whole life.
Yeah.
I don't know how she does
She was brilliant. Biringa yentenata action ne dunga taraji. But Naman Tarala do kuala. She's always ready. So I'm not surprised where she is today in terms of capacity, in terms of how she developed herself over all those years. I'm talking about 1986, 87, 89, thereabouts. Wow. Yeah. So she's an intellectual. Yes.
She's a born activist, always fighting. I don't know how where she get that courage. Mala body dami, bari hataboja barinding so natural born activist, activist all over.
So we celebrate her.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, what bantale? Even when follow sakobadi on bejiberola, what bantale? Come here for nyami. This is a big scandal. We expect the government to say something. We expect the minister, the president to address the nation idea mole ibe mune fola banku dingol mi be jibero jama ba jahal tale bi mbe nyentembo min to banku dingol min dara mom wang ibe mutare ye bondi banjuli ye samba anti crime jabang sai ko be banjulo ndeng that alone mindset malafi wala koteke wobe kere bar fanan e kon na fengo mi yalan ko jamme min sunyanu Gambia dingol bul e kon never again e ko wala nyanta bola nyim banko ka mol ko mo be d'accord ta kaman sakunda sembentu ya ko Jammeh nyim fengol min beta ala tabul bi wo fengol ko le fanan ko mukumuta mol kama e malo nga dunta dami banko dingol ko lafta wala jela o dia mol be kerin bi kabirin somanda protest be kerin labe to wol be keri be mun saro di la badi wala min be jibaro.
Well, I'll tell the president to be a leader, to think about his legacy. And that legacy would, of course, deal with how he handles great moments, difficult circumstances like we are dealing with today. Yes.
Yeah.
Let him come out an order for the immediate release of all these people. They are not threatening his government. They are not threatening the security of the Gambia. If anything, the president's action, presidential action, presidential in court, yes, would probably go a long way in cementing his legacy. But legacy is not about buildings. It's not about roads. Yes, it takes me about 15 minutes from Sokoto to get to Banjul. If you go through Bakote and then to the Battle Harden Highway and all of that. But that was the achievement of the nation, not the president. The president's achievement would be how he handles leadership, how he handles power, how he restrains the urge to be excessive in deploying the powers of the presidency. So he needs to watch those things.
He needs to watch those things.
If people say, you are this, you are that, you are the best we ever had, I will not judge him on those things. But he's still in power. His legacy is still been formed. Yes, it's still been created. Yes, I wrote once, I said, we'll remember him. Not by the buildings and the roads that he constructed, but how he handles the majesties of the presidential authority as far as good governance is concerned. Yes.
And that is
that will be his legacy.
That will be his legacy,
yes.
not the roads.
Not the roads. The roads are Gambia's properties.
That is Gambia's property.
Yeah. He's just managing those. But he'll stand out and be different if he governs under law. Yes. Yes.
Thank you very much, Counsel, and for always, on every time on short notice to come, especially issues of national interest, because this is a very interesting, and we want to thank the Republic, Mustafa. He continues to do an amazing job. And, you know, I want to say this of Mustafa. I have heard people, and I've seen these commentaries on social media, people saying, oh, Mustafa is sparing some other people. He's been paid. You don't know this guy. Mustafa Kedabo.
If Mustafa is being paid,
Mustafa
he
Kedabo,
would be driving a Prado by now.
He would have.
Yeah. Or maybe the 12 million dollars vehicles that...
because he broke talent. You cannot even buy me a kilo of meat. That's how broke this boy is. So if people tell me this guy is bribed, I'm like, you don't know him.
No,
he's not inspired by those things. He's not motivated by worldly things. That's not what he wants. That's not what he's interested in.
He wants a better
You know,
Gambia.
I remember one time he told me, Fatou, you know, when he was working directly for Kerr Fatou, and I said, Mustafa, whenever we're about to bring an investigation, I say, but funding on a contract, so renew Dukare, but to follow. He said, Fatou, Tolmu doba dingoleti. Tolbu doba dingoleti. Nin tolman na mol nimman do ko ke put doba le nga bata bondi kang. Mol doba will continue like a batata. He is not inspired by worldly things. He's not inspired by anything that is materialistic. That's the nature of the guy. He doesn't care. Computer, laptop, that's what Sirif Katonyo wala Sirif la futu sito. He was not invited because Sirif na was according to invite na laptop will be na stories for no wedding. That's the nature. Momi yale bafole. So those character assassinations, those personal attacks will not stick because that's not the kind of person he is.
No, not at all.
He's just doing his job.
Not at all.
Now, if you become a victim of that, you should know maybe you are not doing the right thing. But that's one thing people should just forget about and not say it, because if you say it, it will not stick because people know this young man. He doesn't care about all of these things that we care. If he comes,
when I was being called to the bar in 2003, I was called to the bar in 2001 in the UK. But when I was being called to the bar in 2003, I made a statement when it was my turn to speak. Yes, before the General Legal Counsel. And one of my final line was, governments come and go, but the Gambia will always remain.
Yeah.
So Gambia is what we should be concerned about.
Yeah.
Some people who are saying Mustafa has been paid are probably supporters of the government. Yes, but I'm saying, forget the government.
Yeah.
Forget the political parties. Think about a Gambia where you can live with dignity, where you can live in prosperity. Prosperity not for a few people, but for everybody.
For everybody.
Yes. That is what you need.
That's what you need.
Not political parties, not government. They are just temporal custodians. The permanency resides in the country itself, the nation itself, and that is the Gambia.
That's the Gambia.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Counsel. It's been interesting, and a lot of people are excited that you came to just look at this report with us, and just especially the legal aspects of it, the ethical and ethical way of how the processes that the Republic was able to expose in their reporting. Once again, we want to thank Mustafa and his team. Thank you so much, always for coming. Very soon, because
No, I think the president yante bulala.
President ode yani ularo aya ko du karal nyimble ti la sol kon
yante bulala nyini ma atora fen. Ala support albe nyini konon.
Yeah.
Yes, I know some of them will be president la support.
It's not about
the president
expressing their disappointment.
Yes.
So this is not about any political
Yes.
party.
Yes.
This is about the nation. Let the boys go.
Yeah, let them go.
Let them go.
Yeah.
And my uncle IGP, please, this cannot happen under your watch.
Yeah.
Let the boys go. Thank you very much, Counsel. It seems like Counsel, I'm going to let you go, and then I'm going to invite a guest that I just saw coming in. Thank you so much, Counsel.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. And of course, Charles, the family, I'm gis file. Waki, Counsel, you can just. No.
We are happy to announce the launch of our new logo. We have evolved since our incorporation in 1997, and it is time to refresh our new look to reflect who we are today. Before I reveal our new look, however, walk with me while I take you through our journey of the last 25 years. Trust Bank was incorporated on July 3rd, 1997 and began operations on October 1st, 1997. Following the collapse of the parent company of its predecessor, Meridian, the CBG stepped in and recapitalized the bank and held the shares in trust, thus the name Trust Bank. In 1999, the first investors who responded to the IPO and paid $1.50 per share received their maiden dividend of 50 bututs per share. In 2000, the bank fully paid back its investment by declaring another dividend of $1.20 bututs per share, making it a cumulative dividend per share of $1.70, which was 20 bututs above the purchase price. Between 2002 to date, share capital has...
Well, definitely, Luga. I wanted to receive him and then...
We are happy to announce the launch of our new logo. We have evolved since our incorporation in 1997, and it is time to refresh our new look to reflect who we are today. Before I reveal...
Jërëjëf.
Kontaan naa trop Cheikh Mara. Naka lan mooy sa tànk Gambie nag tey moom nag moo xam naa ne Kerr Fatou si boppam.
Waaw.
ñii seetaan kontaan ne. Xam nga bi ngeen ñëwee fii sama kër.
Waaw.
Dëkk bi yëpp a ma kool.
Bilaay dëgg la.
Fu jëlee Cheikh Mara.
Bilaay.
Ana Cheikh Bara.
Man kay nag jaaxal nga man ndax man li ma jaaxal journaliste Sénégal yi.
Waaw.
ñoom dañuy wër sëñ Mara mënuñu koo jàpp.
Kañ.
sëñ Mara daanu ci Kerr Fatou.
man de dama kontaan de.
ah yaa ko moom
yow rek ñoo seet si ñu kontaan naa.
jar nga lu ëpp loolu.
ndeysaan
jërëjëf sa liggéey ci taxawaay ci dëkk bi.
waaw
umpul kenn.
kañ
ñëpp ngi lay nuyu.
waaw
di la saluer. di la wax noonu la.
waaw
yaa ngi liggéeyal dëkk bi lu am solo. suñu président bi mu fi ñëwee maa ngi koy nuyu sax ak waa dëkk bi yëpp.
waaw
moom ñoom laa war a ubbee.
kañ
surtout Gambiens yi.
kañ
waaw ñoom suñuy soppi lañ. suñuy xarit lañ.
waaw
maa ngi nuyu daal képp ku yeewoo Gambi rek.
waaw
moo xam nga nekk ci dëkk bi wala nga nekk ci bitim réew. maa ngi lay nuyu bu baax. di la siyaare.
waaw
di nuyu borom réew mi. di nuyu bu baax waa opposition bi xam nga nag man damaa bëgg opposé ba nga xam ne damaa jàpp ne sax fi ne man xam nga nag man sama lépp.
est-ce que yéen moom man de laa wax. ma ne yéen waa Pastef.
waaw
yéen daal da ngeen miin opposition ba tey yéen a ngi xalaat fi opposition. yéen daal yéen a ngi opposition ba tey.
dëgg la de Fatou. jërëjëf Touré waa xam nga loolu.
waaw
mooy suñ borom dafa yéeme. nguur suñ borom moo koy joxe.
waaw
te àdduna bi yëpp dañoo jàppoon ne Pastef duñu mas a nguuru. lépp lu ñuy yàqal nit rek. def nañ ko ci Pastef.
waaw
Pastef ray nañ seeni nit. Pastef tëj nañ seen leader. Pastef tas nañ parti bi. Pastef demoon na ba existitul ci ay këyit. waaye nag lenn la am mooy Pastef dafa nekk ci xol yi. te gis nga xol. lu ca jiitu rek man borom. lii mooy tax nag loolu nag bu amee nit ñi ñoo ko doon def ci seen bopp. ne du ngeen àgg ci nguur du ngeen accéder xoolal fi ñu jaar rek. léegi nag xëy na loolu nag moo ñu topp ba tey ñu ngi ci nguur gi dëgg la waaye ñu bari da ngay jekk da ngay romb ñun ñu tooñ la na le yéen a ngi opposé wu ba tey ah yéen a yor nguur gi. waaye sant yàlla di ñaan yàlla ay ndam tege ci. te am nañ ci yaakaar. di nuyu bu baax a baax ñëpp ñi nga xam ne ñooy membre gouvernement bi. di leen jaajëfal di leen sant ndax wax dëgg yàlla ñi ngi doxal. ñu ngi liggéey te sénégalais lii rek lañ doon xaar ci ñoom Fatou Sénégal dafa nekk dëkk boo xam ne. yàlla daf ko bëgg. man nga ne sax moo Gambia. ndax Sénégal ak Gambie dañoo nekk dëkk boo xam ne duñu ñaar ñun benn lañ. Fatou li ngay dund Sénégal ngay dund Gambie. Sénégal nag yàlla bëgg ko. ba noppi sauvé ñu. ndax mënoon nañoo teg ci yeneen loxo. moo tax président Ousmane Sonko man du ma tàyyi di ko wax moom wàccoon na ak ñun ñoo ko ameel bor boo xam ne. dinañ ko fay ndax wàccoon na ak ñun. li gën a jafe la ñu defal daf ñu moom loo waat suñu bopp ñun dañ ñoo notoon boo gisee ñu naan nguur kenn du xeex ak moom. te ñun ñu daan xeex ak nguur gi ba noppi liñ daan xeex ak nguur gi. fit win ci àndaloon.
waaw
Fatou. ak doole ji ak capacité bi. suñ borom téye ñu ba tey. dañ doon xeex dëgg jooju nga xam ne dafa nekkoon ci Sénégal ñu koy nëbb daaw ñu nangu sax président Ousmane Sonko wax Macky Sall xam nga loolu la gënoon a ragal.
wax bi
bëggul woon mu wax parce que nit ñi bëgguñu jàmbaar te bëgguñu dëgg. léegi nag bi mu demee moom ba xam ne kii lii lay bañ Sénégal yëpp daan nañu waaye kii lu ñuy nëbbu ci kii nag yàlla fi mu bëggee réew mi laa lay wax. nga xam ne moom bu dee jëmmam ak jëmmam man Fatou gis naa nit ñoo xam ne yor nañ alal ju bari di wër président Ousmane Sonko ba yegg si ci ay tànkam mu récité leen ba si ñii mu fal. am na koo xam ne mën naa tudd turam. ku su mel ni Darboe.
waaw suñu xarit bi
xam nga dara da dul umpe. semaine bi xam nga nu nit def. ñëw ba ci bureau am ñuy waxtaan masalan mu takk ay xéewal bëgg ko koo jox. daan na ko génnal sama bureau. xoolal qualité yi nit ñu jub ñii Sénégal jox tey. loolu mas na am. takk alal. te ni mu amee ci Darboe ba mu def jëf jooju.
noonu la amee
ba ay garaatam yokk. moo tax président Ousmane Sonko ci lii la leen nàmpatal. te am réew bu ñu demee ba ñi ko jiite jëluñu alalu waa réew mi. lii génn ci réew mi ci alal ci koom ñu koy def ci biir réew mi réew moomu mënul def lu dul naat. te Sénégal fii la xëccu jëm. ma koy nuyu moom daam.
am na ñu wax ne seen réew mi fu mu ne nii dafa xaw a métti xaalis bi circulé wul ñu arrestation yi bari na looy wax ci loolu.
dana gën a bari.
arrestation
waaw
lu tax.
li tax mooy Fatou réew mi. ñi dañ koo yàppoon. ñun duñ tëj kenn ngir lan bëgg laa tëj. moomeelu sénégalais yi nga denc. lañ lay laaj nga génn ko. ñu ngi joxe de.
waaw loolu moo ma jaaxal joxe bi.
fuñ ko jëlee boo leen tegaloon seen salaire ak liggéey buñ mën a am kenn mënu ci am benn milliard boo moomal sa bopp. Faatu ñuy yor ay centaine de milliards. waaye kon ñoom kon nañ leen bañ a tëj ñu tëj kaso yi de parfois nga dem fekk fa ko sàcc ginaar.
waaw.
ginaar ngay sàcc ñu tëj la. waa kii sàcc yi milliard waa réew mi. nga xam ne sa xaalis a ngi ci sa xaalisu ñëpp a ngi ci. waaye moom ñu bàyyi ko mu dem. bu dee de nii la ñuy jubantee kon amaguñ président nañ leen jàpp loolu mooy dëgg ñu génn alalu réew mi man maa leen ëpp yërmande ñoom ñii ñëpp man mënumaa jàpp nit mënumaa tëj nit. waaye nag bu dee Sénégal képp ci des muy alalu waa réew mi. suñu moroomi Afrique yëpp nekk ci lan jéem a tabax seen ay réew ñu am Afrique bu bees. yow xalaatoo ci dara lu dul jël xaalis bi di ko loolu dafa salte. te nag lii moo tax bëgguñu woon waa ji accéder ci pouvoir bi.
Cheikh Yérim waxoon na ko de.
neewoon na
ne na leen ne. yéen waa nguur gi waa Macky Sall boo leen dof-dofloo ba ngeen sarax nguur gi ngeen joxe ko di ngeen gis loo leen musa xalaat.
waaw loolu de bu ko waxee it suñu borom jox na ko.
waaw.
gis nga ñun. Sonko du fayantoo. waaye gis nga affaire kaso yi ñuy wax nii bis bu dof-dofloo. ba yëngal waa ji du seen morom de te ñun xeex ndax mën nañ. waaw xam nañ ni ñuy xeex. bu baax nag te ragaluñ. te xeex boo koy def di calculer te ñoom dañuy calculer nañ ñëw.
waaw.
ñii nekkuñu fi ngir seen intérêt bopp. ñeen ci fal ñëpp tey jii koo ci fëggoon fëggu mënu laa jox dara yoruñu ko. Sénégal foog ko am ñu naan réew mi dafa kii déedéet waa APR la ñoom laaj ñu leen seen xalaat ci réew mi. moo tax ñu foqate ko jël ko ci ñoom dañoo xeex ak ñoom jàkkaarloo Sénégalais ñu fal ñu ñooñu mënuñoo wax lu dul dëkk bi doxul buñ fi toogee na ñëpp ne Sénégal la ngi dox rek kon politique dootu fi am il faut am ñuy wax mënta ñàkk waaye ku yàlla dimbali ci diggante bii ñu fi toogee war ngaa xam ne réew mi mi ngi xëccu jëm ci neex.
tey gis naa si assemblée bi ñu ngi level immunity parliamentary yenn parliamentarians surtout ak also ñu ngi cour de compte bi gis naa Mansour Faye muy goro ci président Macky Sall ak yeneen ministre ñi nga xam ne ñoom war nañ leen a séntu waaye nag lu gën a yéeme mooy doomi président bi si boppam Amadou Sall ak ñi nga xam ne ñooñu la àndal ñoom tam ñu ngi leen convoqué am na wax ne moom du ñëw mais ñi nga xam ne ñooñu la bokkal ci affaire yi si dossier bi convoqué na leen loolu ñëpp ne moom
dina ñëw de ñu ne moom du ñëw dina ñëw de
ñu ne
américain nag nigérien ci yam dina ñëw reeral maa la ko wax de Macky Sall sax dina ñëw maa ko wax réew mi
Mara yaa wax lii
Macky Sall dina ñëw
Mara xam nga ne gis naa ci internet bi nañ dem man daal yeewu naa démb ci guddi ma gis ay vidéo di circuler
waaw
Mara soo paree nag Kerr Fatou moom bul fi wax dara du tëj réew mi man daal yeewu naa démb si guddi gis sa vidéo daal laa gis si TikTok yëpp
man de maa ngi
waxoon li nga fi waxoon yëpp
maa ngi Gambie rek te sax yëguma lu xew ci réew ma xam naa nag Gambie yi moom damay xam nga samay xarit lañ nag bëgguma wax yu bari yoo xam ne mi ngi fi te surtout seen wàllum politique bi xam nga politique gu Gambie
wax ñu si tuuti Mara ba pare wax ñu fii tam ci Kerr Fatou tamit
waaw Kerr Fatou est-ce que Kerr Fatou kii ngi fi dëgg waa fa
kan
ana président ana borom réew mi ngi fi
waaw mu ngi fi de waaw
nañ bàyyi noonu
Mara lu xew
yaa
ngi ko nuyu président ak lan waaw ak lan
te ñoo yam foofu rek
Mara jox ñu exclusivité loo gis suñu réew mi
jàmm ak salaam rek wax dëgg yàlla da nga xam nga olof dane gan du yeew yi béy gan sax nag
yow waa réew mi nga
waa réew mi laa
kay
waaye mbir day toll foo xam ne dinaa leen defal nag lu leen ab sëriñ mosul defal
mooy lan
mooy wan leen seen président ak ki war a falu
di ñu ko woon kañ ñu ko woon.
man dimbal laa ci Afrique man xam naa ne du ma fi yàgg dañ ma koy tere sax waxin la rek.
wax nga loolu Mara.
waxin la juróom-ñaari dëkk bu ci nekk dañ may wan président bu ma jógee Gambie damay jàll waa Guinée nangam kii war na dem ci ay dëkk yu bari. te mission bi lenn lay doon.
kan mooy
joxoñ leen ki gën ci dëkk bi.
te dañ ñu joxoñ kañ nga ñoo joxoñ.
la ko wax loolu kay xam naa dañuy ñëw Kerr Fatou rek def exclusivité.
boobu nag jox ma exclusivité nag.
des na lu tolloog weer ak tuuti.
di ñu wax.
man maa la koy wax fii ñëpp dégg.
Mara jaral na ma ñëw Sénégal de.
sama kàddu rek laa am. du ma wax lu ma gëmul te bu ma nee la diw la.
diw la
te loolu moo am.
waaw.
ne nii nag léegi. bu ñu nee bëreet fi ne ma am nu ma def rek. man naa am lu kii lu bari.
waaw
te da ngay respecté. ay nawle. yow bokkul yëf yi. du ma ne ci pouvoir bi la nag du ma ne ci opposition bi. waaye xëy na pouvoir bi de. kii bi de
xëy na
pouvoir bi ba.
xëy na pouvoir ndax.
waa ji xëy na pouvoir bi loolu. kii falu te dafa leer. ni ma koy saa soriwul.
dafa leer.
naan kii falu gi dafa leer.
waaw
du am deuxième du am dara écart bu bari. Gambie gi yëpp génn nag. Gambie dana yëngu.
Mara man maa ngi bëgg a célébrer sax man maa ngi xaw a joomi tuuti sax.
xam nga loolu du dara Fatou. man yooyu defuma ko sax xam-xam. ku mel ni yow nga xam ne yaa ngi ci sa liggéey adduna yëpp xam la ràññee la. nga toog nii rek te lu naturel lay doon di ñëw ci man.
kañ.
nii la yëg même Sénégal sax.
kañ man seetaan naa la yaa émission ak Pape Cheikh Diallo.
waaw.
ñu toog 2 days 3 days after.
waaw.
ma gis Pape Cheikh ma ne waaw man moom xaar ma.
waaw xam nga man suñu borom daf maa dimbali te bëgguma dara lu dul nit ñii nga xam ne yàlla boole na ma ak ñoom man àdduna bi bokk naa ci ñi fi yàlla gën a dimbali ci jamono jii may waxee yow nit kenn gënu koo xam boppam waaye fi mu ne ci àdduna ku la wax lu leer nii ngay gis nii man naan la ay président bi ay déedéet dama naan la diw mooy fal diw nang dañ koy waxtaan ci xel mu rafet waa ku yor loolu mu wóor la ne yaa ngi diiwaaleeg suñu borom ak lu mën a xew ba noppi ma boole ci ak leneen bu ma mënta ne mënuma lu dul yóbbante bi nga xam ne ci suñu borom lay jóge di jaar ci man ma leen koy wax te du yàq dara ci mbir yi mooy waral nit di ñëw mën na la diw ñu ci bari nag duñ ko gëm suñ borom ma ko nammee noonu man bu may fëgg sama dënn faat naan kaay leen gëm wala li may wax dama ko fiy teg dem suñ borom ma koy indi te dañ ciy yegg te noonu lay demee ku am loolu sa digganteeg suñ borom nit ñi dem nañ ba kuñ gis sax ngay wax loolu dañuy ñëw na la yow sëñ Mara ngay toppandoo te wax naa lépp de man sama wax ju bari nit ñi dañ koo làq.
waaw yaa ñu waxoon jomaay di.
moom sax gëmu ko woon.
yaa ñu ko waxoon di yaa ñu ko waxoon di waxoon nga ñu de. Sonko dina falu waaye est-ce que du jomaay njëkk.
dinaa la wax dara sax lu gën a neex.
waaw.
2019 bi mu jàllee rek ci fan yu njëkk yi. mën na leen président Ousmane Sonko bu duggee kaso ba génn. lu mu wax mu saf ñëpp. bi mu duggee kaso ba génn lan la wax fal leen jomaay. bu saful woon ñëpp danañ fal jomaay.
déedéet
li mu wax sax nag ñëpp man waxi yàlla lii nag mooy wax bi nga xam ne man faat waa lu bu mu génnee maanaam da ngay jëli wax ja ak mbir mi nga toppe faat
kay
waxuma la bu génnee mu dem man gis naa ko ci pale ban xam naa
nga ne gis nga ne
ñu ci bari maa leen di réeral sax ci ay yëfi nit am ñu may jokkoo ñoo xam ne ci ay ñoom ñaa ngi dégg diw nangam ak nangamay am ku suñ boroom baaxee loolu ab dafay toog fee ne liy xew suba yàllaa ko xam démb xamoon nga ne dañuy def émission waaw suñ boroom mi la xamal loolu tée sa xel moo ne jinne lu ko romb da koy fàtte li ci kanam rek lay xam aw dundinam xam nga nu mel jinne
léegi
bu toogee day wéeru day jublu pen day sol mbaxana bu tiflee da koy suul day socc buy dox du gees suñ borom dina xamal nit ba xamal ko loo xam ne yow da ngay xam ne yow da ngaa am dimbal waaye lii waroo koo xam ci nit ki jomaay bi ma nee day falu pourtant moom ndax booba nekkul numéro 2 wu parti bi boobu jomaay sax nit ñi daawuñu ko dégg ka gis mi ngi woon ci suuf nag di liggéey lu am doole ci parti bi
waaw definitely
keroog ba mu génnee kaso bi ma ne ko jàpp loxo ci guddi gi ñu daaw daje Mbàkke man ne leen garaatu njiitu réew a ngi nii de booba gaañaa ngi tiit ñu bari jàpp na di kii kilifa yu mag nag ci Sénégal koo jàpp ne bokk ci lay bokk sëñ Mara wax ñu budul baax ñun ñu xam nuñ def ñi takkoon nañ seeni bagage ba nar a génn mën na leen toog leen wallahi day baax man ay gor laa ko séqal man moo tax Fatou dinaa yenn nit ñi tey nañ ma bàyyee laaj boobu lu bari sëñ Mara ak palaka def yëpp man Fatou waa kuy fale
waaw
soxla nga pal
waaw
man damay fale
da ngay fale soxla loo pal
man bu ma demee bay xëccoo yii nit ñi di xëccoo rek xamatuma li ma doon nit dana jubóog suñ borom ci ay diggante ba lu mu wax yàlla def
xakañ
jamono ju ne dafay am ku fi ne koo xam ne mook suñ borom buñ réeroo te ñu yàlla te day man de Fatou xam nga ñan ñoo ma gëm ñi nga xam ne gëmuñu dara gëmuñuy sëriñ man ne leen man du ma sëriñ si bu njëkk dañ daan sol garam bu man xale ya may forcé sax waaye man solo kabak def émission ak solo
sa kaab yaa
man yàlla daf maa dimbali ndimbal gi nag lenn laa ko gën a ràññee ñi ma defal jaamam
waaw
Fatou man nit fu ma gisee sama jëmm du koy gënal jëmmam
waaw
te Mara dàqu fi Mara fi gën a ñaaw Mara fi nangama waaye leeru suñ borom gi nga xam ne suñ borom daf ñu koy dëggañaale ñun ay gaayam loolu moo fi téye ci nit ñi loolu it moo ñuy wan man damay ñaan yàlla heure bu ma waxee yàlla bu ko kenn gëm ndax it gaay ak may bëgg a nangul ñoom ñëpp nag tax dañ ne
nangul nañ la fu mu ne nag nangul nañ la moom nangul nañ la
nanguwul nag
moo tax
ndax nangu gi
waaw
man Sénégal wax boobu nag daa xaw kii dama ñëw daan yéen dama leen a nax rek waaj ne ma xam nga Sénégal boo waxee baat bu kii duñu xam kii bi mën na leen yéen damaa ñëw fii sëriñ di dukkat di fecci di ànd ak yéen di kaf di ree ñama fekkoon ñépp ma jële leen fi nag ñëw nag na leen kaay leen ñu dem te lii nelaw ci man man naa lu ëpp lii waaye aw ma concurrence de
lii amul concurrence gisuma ko
de moo tax
waaye sëñ Ma Sénégal bi président Ousmane Sonko ñëwee Afrique yëpp dañu am yaakaar
surtout loolu
dañu am yaakaar tey fii gis nga di nga gis ñoo xam ne sax tuddee nañ seen boppa Sonko tuddee seen boppa Pastef lu ne la ñuy def Afrique yëpp te loolu yëpp yaakaar la te yaakaar bi mooy ne dinañ réussir dinañ def loo xam ne dina tax Afrique dinañ jóge si nguur yi nga xam ne pouvoir da ngay jël sa doole rek di ko jaay opposition di jël sa doole di jël xaalisi askan gi di ko jëfandikoo doo si xam nga
yow xanaa xamoon ne ñu ngi ci sa kaw na nga def très attention maa la ko wax de yàlla xam na ko
kana nekk suma kaw noonu
moytul de na nga moytu bu baax si jamono ji ay yaag sa kër gi ak sa télé beeg yëpp moytul ñu ngi ci sa kaw de lii moom maa la ko wax moom moytul bu baax
kon est-ce que loolu mooy kon ma bàyyi la
non bàyyi mënta ne xas nga ba soobu jàmbaar
est-ce que doole ma utal kër Sénégal
maa la ko wax de lii moom maa la ko wax moom te politique gu Gambie bii da ngeen koo woyofal waaye lu diis la
politique bi waaye ñun duñ politicien di
yow dañ lay tuumaal ci opposition bi
Mara yow kañ nga ñëw si réew mi ba xam loolu kañ nga ñëw si réew mi ba xam loolu man ma opposition di
moom kay moom ñu ngi la koy jiiñ nag waaye ñu ngi la koy jiiñ
te ñu ngi suma kaw
dama lay tiital nag kuy saw mbokk rek na jóg gestu la ñu teg la loxo loolu moom maa la koy wax di ko dimbalee yow ak say mbokk lii laa man nag ndax bu ma yaafuusee ba dara dal ci sa kaw dinañ ne la waa xanaa maara bi seere laay wut moo tax ma wax ko ci kaw mënoon nañu wàcc ma wax la ko ci suuf di mënoon nañu génn di ñu ngi ci sa kaw nag waaye suñ borom dina la kattanal waaye dina xaw a yëngu tuuti.
est-ce que yënguwul sax.
ah man.
est-ce que yënguwul.
yëf yi da gis nga Fatou. àdduna ñoo bëggul jàmbaar. yaakaar bu juddoo ci Afrique ñu mel ni yéen dañu bekk ci ndaw ñi war a doxal liggéey bi. ay révolutionnaire ngeen yu mag war a taxaw pour lan di gindi nit ñi. li fi ñëw ki fi jaar léegi njàqare gi réew mi di dundee. amuñu baat ñu ñëw ci Kerr Fatou yow nga taxaw ne Kerr Fatou du dem teg ko fan. man nag arrangé wu ma gaañ yi ndax jàmbaar yi man laa bëgg a feeñal moo tax léegi am yambar teg plateau ne damay invité ma ne ko du ma ñëw. waaw jàmbaar yi laay wër muy góor muy jigéen. man jàmbaar laa dama bëgg te bëgguma kuy xeex nit man. moo ma booleeg sama gaañi keroog ba ma gisee na Macky Sall mii ku mën a fitnaal nit la Macky Sall bi mu jàppee Sonko Macky Sall daal man tooñ na ma rek tooñ na ma tooñ yu bari te bokkul nag waaw man maa bëggul kuy not nit ak di moo tax président yii ci des nekk ci nguur ku ci jëlul leçon yaa ngi juum ndax Sénégal ñu ëpp yërmande xamuñu xeex waaye Fatou xoolal suñu réew mi ni mu yëngoo woon ci at yee passé ci at ak nangam lay toll biñ nekkee ci jàmm léegi nag président yii bëgg a yor politique boobu bu Macky Sall bu salte boobu yaa ngi xëccu jëm ci sag daanu te booy daanu sag ndongay dal ci suuf maa la ko wax ay nit kese lañ muy président Diomaye mu ku man di nekk ci àdduna ñoom ñëpp ay nit lañ waaye seenu askan liñ leen jox nañ leen koy delloo lii mooy dëgg bul falu def sa bopp maamun bëgg ñoo def maamadi duma ko nangu nañ ko def 50-50 ñun ñëpp ñu dund sénégalais dafa baax bu la falee day bëgg ngay def nangam di la kii xoolal loolu moo am ci Gambie ñun ay nit ñu baax lañ jeunesse bi man xam naa ci opposition laay dee ndax man bëgguma koy not nit bëgguma koy déedéet sama gaa ñi buñ tàmbaloon a drapé kon nga xam ne man mbum mi woyof na de waaye man naa lu bari nag man naa ko waaye ñoom duñ àgg foofu
yaakaar nga loolu am na ñu wax ne nguur day soppi nit Mara
Jomaay moom nguur du ko soppi moom ak Sonko bu ngeen dof loo da leen di bàyyi nguur gi dem man loolu laa leen di ragalal nga naan ma soppeeku du kooku du Sonko déedéet du moom yàlla xam ne ne du moom man gis nga Sonko dama ko natt ci saayir ak ci baatin Fatou coow lee bari nii rek waaye Sonko sax yëgul li xew wallaay
wala lu xew Sénégal ñu ne Sonko la kuñ tëj ñu ne Ousmane Sonko la kuñ arrest ku saaga
moom kay lenn lañu def seen jabar yi ñu yor daal buñ ko ëmbalee duñ ne Sonko la
waaye lépp Sonko la
waaye lu dul loolu
Sonko la
nit dana ci masa ëmb jur jar na ko est-ce que Sonko jur sa doom ji danañ ko def ñoom ndax dañuy nelaw ñoom lekk rek lañ defut ñoom seen fi di yeeg ñoom Sonko sonn na Jomaay falu nañu wax ci Jomaay
dañu wax ci Jomaay
moo tax Jomaay wax na leen ko ku am premier ministre bu mel nii da nga koy téye te Sonko mi ñuy wax Sonko du leen tudd du leen taas Fatou baa xam ngeen ne Sonko doo toog ak moom ba mu tudd dit xamu ko sax ku ci nekk di wax ak moom di waxe dënn bu toogee ci seet sax balance ngaan balance fi dof yooyu yow doo ba doomu jàmbur ji bu balaasul ba tegal la say tànk gundaandaat sénégalais yee ko bëgg dañoo bon wallahi dañoo soxor yow yéene woo nit ku toog sax wéeru moo tax léegi ma toogee damay wéeru comme que dañ ko fiy tere ñëppay balance même fauteuil yi mën na ko mais da ngay xool coxor googu quoi yow génnoo waxoo yow kii li mu wax ci suñu pétrole li mu wax ci suñu wàllum ay déet suñu ay pôle yi ñu war a samp pour lan Sénégal xëccu dem taxawal ay usines yoo xam ne di transformer suñu ay mbir ba duñ jéggaaneti dara soble bii nga xam ne moo pomme de terre bi léegi bu ko nangam soxlaa sax ñoo koy yóbbul xoolal bele bi liñ ci liggéey maanaam nit ki da ngay mais yow ay balance ngay xool moo tax sénégalais yow nañ ñoom ñëpp dañuy yàqu barke yàlla maa la ko wax Sonko du nit ku ñuy fowe man xam naa li may wax bi ma njëkkee toog fii ca digg coow ya mën na leen Sonko wàllu la yooyu sax duma ci bëgg a sori xam nga lu tax
waaw
damay bañ am na ñoo xam ne bëgguma ñu yàqu te xam naa ne waa ji wallaahi day lakke Sonko dafa tàng jër waaw Sonko li gën a jafe mooy day xattal nit ba nit ki yàq boppam te du ko yëg waaw c'est très dangereux ñun nag soxlawuñ ñëpp sax bëgg Sonko Sonko ñu ko bëgg nii rek doy na waaye bu ñeneen yokkoo ñu jël waxin la waxuñu ngir ñu gëm Sonko wala ñu bëgg ko wala buñ ne ñëppee bëgg Sonko ñun nekkiwuñ foofu de mais li réew mi bëgg mënuñu ci ànd ak waa réew mi jomaay mii tey ñoom dañoo soxora doon yàkkal Sonko ba xañ ko faf Sonko indi boppam ñoom xanaa xamoo ne fiñ daanoo fiñ man xaw ma lu ci tane sax ñoom doon daw tawat far dal ci ndoxum siti xaw ma ci kii
am na ñu am ñaari ñu am njaxare ne diggante Jomaay ak Sonko loo ci gis ndax
danañ réeroo de moom
ah
diggante ba kay dana yàqu moom
dina yàqu
waaw gars yi laay may luñ jël di
gars yi ok
comme que ñoom ay kulu naa lañ loolu rek la ñuy xaar de
waaw loolu la ñuy xaar de
waykat bi
xam nga lu tax Mara ma ñëw xam nga lu tax loolu ñun fii gaa mi ñu ragal ko am nañ scénario boobu fii
waay
ñaar ñoo xam ne ñëw nañ ci nguur ñu réeroo mais surtout Sonko ak Jomaay
waay
Afrique fii pour nga gis politicien boo xam ne di nga bàyyi pour ne keneen mu falu te amoon occasion Macky Sall waxoon na Sonko ne nañ pousse élection bi pour nga mën a bokk mu ne noonu na Jomaay dem non kon kooku nguur taxu koo jóg
dëgg la de
kon loolu soo gisee Afrique du Sénégal rek dama day wax ne Sénégal bu réussir
waaw
Afrique moo réussir
loolu dëgg la
because dafay tax ne ñu naan ñii exemple la boo xam ne mun nañ koo yóbbu si réewi Afrique yëpp xam ne façon leadership ndaw yi suñu jógee ñu xeex ñu am luñ am mun nañ koo jël ñu am si lu baax réew mi soppeeku
dëgg la
kon loolu ñooñu seen ànd am na solo pour Afrique yëpp mais su réeroo amee diggante Jomaay ak Sonko day nekk déception bu mag pour Afrique lépp loolu moo tax ñu bari loolu ñu am si itte torop
danañ réeroo de moom Jomaay ak Sonko waaw jëm ci Gambie kii jaar ci suuf kii jaar ci kaw ñu réeroo
waaye dinañ daje
waaw dañuy daje pale ba rek Jomaay du war Sonko
du ko war
déedéet Jomaay ñu gën a bëgg a fal Sonko moom lii mu nekk sax dara neexu ko ci te as gor la nañu xanaa geneen àdduna du àdduna bii de Sonko sax dafee nekkul ngir ku koy war a ku koy bax Soxna Fatou ñi daan gore ñi ngi gore ba tey am na ñoo xam ne nag ay warkat lañ ñi gën a tiit ci loolu wala ñu koy wax rek ay warkat lañ mooy ñi nga xam ne waa APR yi dañuy tàqale ko ñoom loolu lañ xam waaye ñun waa Pastef duñ ko sax waxtaane Sonko moo ëpp loolu te gis nga Jomaay nit ku gore la te nit ku xam boppam la li gën a jafe ci àdduna Jomaay dafa xam boppam te nit ku am fulla la te diiñ maa ngi naan la Sonko bu ngeen amul sax day gedd gi ci Jomaay laa ko gën a gisee Jomaay xëccoowul ay pexe tegu ko fii Jomaay du dafay pexe de ñi doon defee pexe kenn demu ci Sonko la suñ boroom def ci moom loo xam ne ku yàlla nama liggéeyloo daf lay téeñ man nag sant naa ko ndax bi ma nee Jomaay mënoon naa dem indi Serigne Fall moom wala sëñ Saliou Balla Dior waaye daa indi Jomaay man Sonko dama koy sant rek ay góor la ko yàlla booleel ak i soldaar te li ma gën a neex ci moom Sonko dafa fonk nitam moo tax nitu Sonko war na Sonko kooku du woon nitam espoir bi juddu biir Afrique te mu jaar ci président Ousmane Sonko ak Diomaye kuy toog naan diggante ba day yàqook day tas romb nañ foofu ñi ngi xalaat nu ñuy innover ba def leneen yàkkal nit nguur loolu mbiri yàlla la dama ko koo wax dañoo toog ma ne ko mbiri suñ borom nga joxe waaye yàlla dina wàcc ci yow
Sonko dina nekk président man bëgg naa président Sonko de man nag loolu nag bëgg naa ko de man ba tey du ma wax premier ministre
yaa ngi may
Sonko rek lay wax man nag loolu bëgg naa ko de
jërëjëf Fatou jërëjëf maa ngi defaraat garam bopp bi sax dëgg yàlla yow da ngaa baax
loolu nag
waaw kooku moom xam nga suñ borom it noppi na Sonko suñ borom dana ko defal lim bëgg dafa sonn Sonko xëccoowulu pal ndax moo nekk ci pale bi Sonko lu ko neex man yàlla mën na ko def fi mu ne ndax Diomaye xam ne ne Sonko du ko digal lu yàq réew mi ci li nit ñi xam nag wala li ñi di gis dañ mën nañ ne Sonko ak palam da nga naan ba xam Sonko palu gi moom président xam nga nag léeg-léeg nit day wax loo xam ne Sonkoy faloo mooy jël nangam ak yooyu yëpp Sonko ak falam daa jege sax waaw ak nekkam ci maanaam loolu nag wax ju xaw a làqatu la waaye nag moom xëccoowul yooyu yàlla xam na ko
waaye jege na daal
waaw te xëccoowul yooyu Diomaye yi gën a yéene siège bi Sonko wax naa ko man te du ci yàq dara man nag fi mu ne damaa dem ba suñ borom ñaari jëmm yooyu dama leen a mënta xàmmee
Diomaye mooy Sonko mooy Diomaye
damaa dem ba ndax Diomaye lim def day dëgg doomam bu mujj mu tudde ko yaayam ba muy tudde Sonko doom kenn tudde wu ko ca turandoo yu njëkk ya nga dem ba ci pale bi di tudde xam nga Diomaye nag man Diomaye dafa dem ba man mbiram def man ndax it li tax loolu mooy gis nga séeréer dafa am deret du fort ñoom dañoo diiñ koo gis ñu naan la ab caaxaankat la ak nangam séeréer déedéet te Diomaye séeréer dëgg la ba noppi nekk nit koo xam ne nitu kàddu la moo tax dem naa ba Sonko di président ak Diomaye di président man benn la ci man ko toog baax na waaye paluk Sonko moom dafa leer loolu mooy dëgg waaye ñoom ñaar kenn lañ
waaw leer
na nañ waaw te daa jege
daa jege
waaw
xanaa deuxième mandat du am xanaa deuxième mandat du am
waaw xam nga mandat yi
am na ku ma laaj de mu ne nga wax ñu kan mooy suñu next président comme la Gambie ñu ngi ma laaj loolu de am na ku ma laaj
président bu bees daal dinaa ko fal moom
yaa wax lii Mara bul ma indil jafe-jafe yaa ma wax ne ñu ngi suma kaw
non
wax nga ne ñu ngi suma kaw
man daal xam naa ne moom yow yaa ma wax de yaa na dalee laaj bi dama
ko laaj fii de
nee ko daal moom nee ko ku yees taxaw na de
ku yees
waaw loolu moo am de Fatou wax loo nga ma rek
si élection bii di ñëw bu wees
loolu yàggul de li wax ni yàggul ne daa jege li ma lay wax nii moo am dinaa ci ñëwaat na la tur wi diw la
Mara maa la woo nag
yaa
fàttali la sang ma ne si fii ba weer ak dara
yaa ma wax
loolu moom leer na Mara xam naa ne yaa ngi fi am na ñu bari ñoo xam ne dinañ laaj sa numéro yaa ngi fi ba kañ
dimanche incha allah rabbi ñu mën a yeeweeku
ñu fi dimanche
ñi ngi fi ba dimanche doon profito di wax suñuy soppe yëpp maa ngi fi ci dëkk bi fi ne maa ngi Gambia Kerr Fatou
waaw
Kerr Fatou mooy émission bi waaye nekkuma Kerr Fatou
waxa kañ
te roq bële laa daal ca beneen côté ba
ci roq bële waaye dinañ def numéro yi fa naa wa Charles mu def seen numéro yi nga xam ne ñii la bëgg a gis rek mën nañoo woo si
d'accord bu ñu wootee ci numéro yooyu dinaa leen indiqué ndax it soxna Fatou jërëjëf man damaa bari ay soldat Gambie du ma joxe sant yi ku ci mel ni ñoom Lamine bu ma ko tuddee rek nga xam ne ñoom ay soldat lañ
kañ
waaw man dëkk bi dama fi am waaw am na ñoo xam ne bàyyil ma yam ci maane rek ak a def yëpp xawal kiyal gaa yi
kañ
MC day kenn ci man
kañ
MC
ok
moom ak mat yi suma lépp lañ ci dëkk bi
ndeysaan
yàlla na leen yàlla fay yiw
amiin
waa Gàmbi man damaa ñëw ci samay soppe soxna Fatou yow ma lay beral sa cantuk bopp am naa sa yóbbante yu bari bën fi jógee
ndeysaan
te gis naa it ni nga taxawoo sama waa ji ba liggéey bu mag ba nga ci defoon ba gaa ñi fiy ñëw niñ fiy duggee sa kër gi dafa mel ni yow it yow it ameel nañ la njukkal lu rëy waaye nañ la ba rek nga nekk ci jàmm
ku am maara nag nañ ma laal rek xool
dana man de damay raye moom
waaw ku ma laal rek daanul ci kawam maara ku ma laal rek ma xalal ku ma laal rek daanul ci kawam nañ ma ba
te da ngay liggéey bu am solo fi mu ne gis nga Fatou man du ma wax kenn yàlla ngi lay nuyu te gisuma la man noonu la ma yàlla binde te yàlla xam na ne de maa ngi la koy wax léegi man dara ump ma man bu ma ko tegul ci baatin sax lu bari li nga xam ne ci adduna fii jamono toll man lu yëngu ñaare dama koy yëg waaye fi mu ne sa mbir dafa yënguwaat ci beneen anam waaw te foo ko nga samp amee tànk te dëgër nag gis nga li may wax nii nit am na ñoo xam ne bul xeeb mukk fii liggéey bi toll ak fi mu jëm ñëpp a ngi ne la nii fi mu ne maa la ko wax lii sax andiwu ma woon ci émission bi yeneen yi fa ma andi woon waaye man bëgguma daal lu bari daanaka man yóbbantey jàmbur rek laa yor ku ma àgg yàkkal la waaw nga jariñu ñay nar lu bon sax def am nañ taxaw xam ne kii dañ ko fee teg te daa am lu mu war a liggéeyal réew mi li bokk na ci li mën di de yàlla xam na ko loolu mooy dëgg te gis nga Gàmbi suñ borom dana fi wàcc yeneen yëf yu bees
Gàmbi fii
waaw
te dina baax dina neex
dina yëngu ba jaaxal waa Gàmbi xam coow li nag li olof di wax bokk ci coow li xam li waral coow li da koo gën
bokk ci coow li
waaw yëf yi dana yëngu te beneen xar kanam dana soppeeku ci dëkk bi loolu mooy dëgg gu bees ci Gàmbi
xar kanam bu bees
waaw dëkk bi dana melaat neneen
ok
maa ngi bëgg a wax de du ma ko nangu nag waaw ci xeetin falin wi laay wax ak président bi ak liy am di ñëw
xar kanam bu bees
waaw
ci xeetum fal
waaw
xar kanam bu bees
Gàmbi yëpp jóg waaye
waaw
yëf yi xale yi danañ ci bay waar wu mat sëkk te suñ borom danañu kàttan
daggaleen ko
lii mooy am lii mooy am moo danañ ci yegg di loolu soldaari maara yaa ngi fépp kii nañ bu ko kiiwul sax jinne ya koy génne mi ngi fi di wax na leen daal comme maa ngi fi ba dimanche te jóg yombu ma
waaw
ku ñu bëgg a gis rek bu jaaree ci numéro yi dina jokkoo gaañi ñuñ ci mën a gis ñu gis leen balaa maa ñibbi Fatou yow mi ñu mayit opportunité boobu jërëjëf li tax jërëjëf mooy lu baax dafa am solo Cheikh Ibra da ko daan wax waaw def lu baax li tax ñu koy fësal ñëpp war koo gis man Fatou njariñ rek laa yàlla xam na ko man li may ñàkk tëju di bañ a jooy bariwul ndax ku ne xam nga sa bopp te fii jamono toll
waaw
man xam naa ne am na lu suñ borom di wàcce saa su ne
waaw na politicien bu mag bu may woo di lay seetaan
Fatou nañ jam foofu ndax waxtaan wi jot na te man bu ma la toppee di nga may wax loo te bëgguma wax loo ma sax ba pare affaire bi neex na te
macha allah
jërëjëf Fatou
kontaan naa
man mii kontaan naa
kontaan nañ
waaw Fatou jërëjëf rek.
kontaan nañ.
tey moom say kër gi daa am ay gan.
kër gi am na gan. Kerr Fatou am na gan tey. mais kontaan naa. kontaan naa trop sëñ Mara kontaan naa trop.
jërëjëf Touré Manding Mori
sa gars yi. yéen ñëw rek Kerr Fatou yal na yoo xéewal yi gën a yokk.
amiin Fatou yaaram.
te ñu bokk ko.
amiin ñu bokk.
bàyyi ñu xel nag.
waaw
comme gars yi ngi suñ kaw bàyyi ñu xel.
yow ndam rek. ndam rek.
incha allah.
am na loo xam ne message boo xam ne mënuma ko woon a ñàkk a jàllale ci sa jëmm. waaw bi ma toogee fii sama maa ngi waaye nag gis nga. dina baax. te wallahi di nga sagu.
incha allah
sagu nga sax nag. waaw.
wuyul allo. maaleykum. Mbijam fele mbe live lele on the show.
Wow.
Okay, so I'll call you right away when I'm ready. Yes.
jërëjëf
kontaan nañ trop
merci beaucoup.
sëñ Mara loo bëgg a tàggatoo ak waa Gambie ñu ngi seet.
sant rek gërëm la. di la wax sukuran. fii amaanillah. di wax maa ngi am mbégte. ci ñi ma àndal. ñi taal seeni oto gunge si ma. maa ngi leen di béggee ñoom ñëpp. ak waa kër ga. di jël nuyoo bi rek teg ko ci Serigne Saliou ak Baye Serigne Fall. di nuyu Lamine bu baax ak sama gaañ yi bëgguma tudd sax seeni tur ndax man moom. nañ def lépp ci suuf. di nuyu waa équipe bi nag. Kerr Fatou yëpp. di leen ñaanal yàlla suñ borom tawféex. suñ borom gën a doole lépp. jàmbaar nga jigéen nga am nga jom. yàlla na la suñ borom lafal cat. te làq la fu yàq yegul. bi barakati Seydina Muhammadu Rasulullahi sallallahu taala alayhi wa sallam. fi amaanillah.
jërëjëf sëñ Mara kontaan nañ bu baax a baax. nga nuyul ñu suñu sëriñ. Cheikh Bara.
waaw
honorable
kooku daf maa lakkal kooku daf maa sonal.
ak waa Sénégal yëpp kontaan nañ bu baax a baax. di wax ne rek ku bëgg a gis Cheikh Mara. numbers yi ñu ngi si screen bi mun nga leen a call he will be here until Sunday. ñëpp ñoo xam ne rek bëgg nañ koo gis you can call these numbers and you'll be able to. But obviously if you know anybody within the team also we should be able to give you access. Fan lañ nekk dinañ la mën a coordinator loolu. Until we come your way again like I said 20 young people are arrested right now ñu ngi ci Banjulunding police station. We hope ne the Gambia police force will release them hopefully very soon. Protest is a right boo xam ne si suñ constitution bi la nekk right to assemble especially ñoo laajte mooy transparency. Publish the list. Once you do that all of this will be done. Until we come your way again, on Monday I'll be back with Mar Nyang. Obviously, we will have series of shows about all of this that is happening. Good night to you all. See you again. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
We are happy to announce the launch of our new logo. We have evolved since our incorporation in 1997, and it is time to refresh our new look to reflect who we are today. Before I reveal our new look, however, walk with me while I take you through our journey of the last 25 years. Trust Bank was incorporated on July 3rd, 1997, and began operations on October 1st, 1997. Following the collapse of the parent company of its predecessor, Meridian, the CBG stepped in and recapitalized the bank and held the shares in trust, thus the name Trust Bank. In 1999, the first investors who responded to the IPO and paid $1.50 per share received their maiden dividend of 50 bututs per share. In 2000, the bank fully paid back its investment by declaring another dividend of $1.20 bututs per share, making it a cumulative dividend per share of $1.70, which was 20 bututs above the purchase price. Between 2002 to date, share capital has increased from $27 million to $200 million, indicating that the bank has grown organically by plowing back profits to increase capital, while at the same time paying dividends to shareholders. The bank was listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange in November 2002, being the first ever cross-border listing in the sub-region. Now let's talk about awards. The bank was awarded the insignia of the National Order of the Republic of the Gambia, ORG, in the year 2010 by His Excellency the President of the Republic of the Gambia. During the past years, the bank has received so many national and international awards. Banker Magazine, 6 times. Global Finance, 6 times. Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, 5 times. We began operations with 3 branches. Now, we have 18 branches and 20 ATMs and counting. On digital services, mobile app, check. Online banking, check. Transaction alerts, check. Watch this space. We've got more coming. Creating employment, yes, we've got that too. 400 and counting. And we take great care of our people too. Medical insurance, life insurance, private and state pensions, annual pilgrimages for both Muslims and Christians, training, yes, we do them all. One team, one family, one goal. That's the Trust Bank spirit. On corporate social responsibility, we have spent over $50 million in various causes. We care, and so we share. Over the years, we have paid over $1.6 billion to our shareholders, which translates to a whopping $20 per share and counting. Phenomenal returns for our shareholders who purchased at $1.50. Corporate taxes, over $1 billion is paid. Our journey started with a vision to create the kind of company that delivers quality services and innovative products with an inspired team dedicated to serving our customers, our environment, and our communities at large in the most caring manner. We remain fully committed to delivering excellent services to each of our stakeholders, customers, employees, shareholders, and partners. So, we remain true to who we have always been.